Chapter 42-41. How about a month? Chin-Chu thought for a moment and then blurted out. Wow! Daddy, I love you. She couldn't suppress her excitement and kissed Chin-Chu on the cheek. Pudding also smiled happily. Daddy, we don't have to go to school anymore. In fact, for the two genius sisters, going to school was really a torture. After all, they had finished a lot of courses. In the face of the old-fashioned China education system, they had to study non-stop and do tests. It had become very mechanical. The two of them didn't like this way of life. If it wasn't for Huamin, they would have left. In fact, Chin-Chu had wanted to send the twins abroad for a long time. Studying in the United States would make their childhood easier. They thought they could go for a week, but now they heard from their daddy that they could take a month off. The twins' emotions were like a roller coaster ride, with ups and downs. Now that they had reached a climax, they were extremely excited. Children were children after all. When they were happy, when they were unhappy, everything was written on their faces. Even the mature little Pudding wasn't spared. When she heard that she could take a month off, she smiled proudly. So, do you agree to go on a trip with Aunt Qin-Ning? Chin-Chu asked for his daughter's opinion again. Yes, the twins were overjoyed. Of course, they were happy to go on a trip with their aunt. Qin-Ning loved the two children very much and treated them like a daughter. After the discussion, Chin-Chu coaxed the children to sleep. Then, he glanced at the bedroom light. It was already turned off. He went downstairs. Sir, are you going out to find Madam? The maid at the door asked. Did she go out? Yes, Madam went out 10 minutes ago. She drove away. Okay, I got it. Chin-Chu nodded. He didn't think it was strange. It would be strange if this woman stayed at home every day. Chin-Chu didn't chase after her. Instead, he drove his own car and went directly to Tang Chuan's mansion. It was already 8:00 in the evening. Tang Chuan and Qin-Ning were curled up on the sofa watching TV. Recently, Qin-Ning was addicted to a variety show and enjoyed watching it. Ever since Tang Chuan had Qin-Ning, he had become an otaku. Other than going to work and accompanying his wife, he hardly went anywhere. He would only go out to drink when Su Yu and Wei Liao were on the phone. Qin-Ning wore a white cotton nightgown and rested her head on Tang Chuan's lap. She watched TV while eating potato chips. This strong woman had completely turned into a delicate little girl. Tang Chuan saw that Qin-Ning was looking at him so seriously, and his hands began to move under her nightgown. What are you doing? Qin-Ning slapped his careless hand away. Ning, do you want to do something else? Tang Chuan smirked. Do what? Qin-Ning didn't know how to react. She was, after all, an innocent little girl, unlike Tang Chuan, who was so experienced. It's to do something that can improve our intimacy. You know. As he spoke, Tang Chuan's hand mischievously squeezed. Qin-Ning immediately understood and her cheeks turned red. You're so shameless. Tang Chuan. Why are you so perverted? It's not perverted to my wife. It's called legally satisfying my biological needs. Ning, you haven't done it with me for 3 days. Tang Chuan looked aggrieved, like a wronged wife. Damn it, you still have the nerve to say that. It's only been 3 days. Qin-Ning felt that her waist was still sore after the last time. 3 days is a long time for me. No, I can't take it anymore. I'm going to eat you. Tang Chuan fell down and pressed Qin-Ning under his body. He wanted to do a reality show on the sofa. However, at this moment, the doorbell rang. Ding dong. Chapter 42-42. Fuck. Who is it? Get up and open the door. Qin Ning quickly tidied up her messy collar. I won't open the door. No matter who it is, I won't open it. Wait. Wait until we're done. Tang Chuan lowered his head and naughtily bit Qin Ning's lips. Hurry up. What's the rush? It's going to take a long time. Qin Ning angrily kicked Tang Chuan off the sofa. He almost fell to the ground. Seeing that the little princess had spoken, Tang Chuan reluctantly walked over to open the door. He muttered, fuck, if it were someone from my company, I would definitely deduct half a year's bonus. Fuck. You ruined my mood. However, when he opened the door and saw who it was, Tang Chuan froze. Brother-in-law. Why are you here? Ever since he got together with Qin Ning, Tang Chuan respected Qin Chu more and more. After all, Qin Ning loved her brother very much, so he didn't dare to act rashly. Emichim, is Ning Ning home? Qin Chu still looked cold. Yes, come in and talk. Brother-in-law, it's cold outside. Tang Chuan, who always liked to flatter, quickly welcomed Qin Chu in. In fact, he felt a little strange. Qin Chu had almost never come to his private mansion. This was the first time. Something important must have happened, otherwise, he wouldn't have come so late at night. Brother, why are you here? Qin Ning was also surprised to see Qin Chu. Emichem, Qin Chu didn't say anything and only nodded. Tang Chuan, get my brother something to drink. Qin Ning quickly got up and greeted Qin Chu. Brother-in-law, what do you want to drink? Coke with ice. Tang Chuan didn't know Qin Chu's preferences, so he could only guess. No, my brother drinks tea. Don't we have pu-er at home? Go make some tea. Okay. Tang Chuan did not dare to be careless. He quickly boiled water and made tea. Qin Chu sat down on the sofa. Qin Ning turned around and said, Brother, have a seat first. I'll go wash some fruits for you. Ning Ning, don't bother. I'll leave in a while. Sit down. I have something to tell you. All right. Seeing her brother's serious attitude, Qin Ning didn't dare to be negligent. After he explained his intention, Qin Ning was a little surprised. Brother, this 1 month. Don't you miss the 2 little ones? I have something important to deal with this month. If they're not at home, I won't be distracted easily. You're with Tang Chuan, so I don't have to worry. He's smart, and he's good at fighting. I'll bring 4 bodyguards with me. When you arrive in America, Rick's men will protect you. Anyway, be careful. Brother, did something happen at home? Qin Ning thought that if her brother could take the kids away for a month to deal with something, it must be a big deal. It's nothing, just some trivial matters. Don't worry. Then I'll leave now. Can you handle things at the company? Bella is sick, and Jixin is at the hospital. You don't have anyone at the company. Qin Ning cared about her brother, so she had been helping him at the company. Don't worry about the company. It's just a small matter. I know what to do. Then, okay. Qin Ning nodded. Qin Chu took out a black diamond card from his pocket. There's 10 million here. Take it first. The 4 of you can take it as a long trip and enjoy it. If it's not enough, let me know. Brother, what are you doing? We're family, why are you being so polite with me? Qin Ning glanced at the black card but didn't reach out to take it. Chapter 42-43. It's because we're family that we don't have to be so polite. That's why I can give you more. Qin Chu smiled gently and looked at his beloved sister. Big brother, I have money. I have a lot of money. Qin Ning's personal wealth was also shocking. Although it wasn't as exaggerated as Lu Yan's, it was still easy for her to have more than 100 million yuan in her bank account. I know. What's yours is yours. This is from Big Brother. Just take it. Big Brother, are you okay? Why do I feel like you're hiding something from us? Qi Ning looked at Qin Chu nervously. No, it's just that they want to go to Japan with Su Yu. I don't think there's much to play in Japan, so I thought it's almost winter vacation and I don't have time to take them out. I'm busy with work and don't have time to take them out. They're bored out of their minds. Okay, it's best if it's nothing. Big Brother, don't worry. I'll take good care of my nieces. Okay, be careful when you're outside. Keep a low profile. I know. As for Tang Chuan, you should talk to him. Okay, I'll tell him. I've booked the plane tickets for tomorrow night. I'll drive you to the airport. You're in such a hurry. Qi Ning froze again at the mention of tomorrow night. Yeah, it's good to leave early. Pudding and Little Bean can't wait. Okay. Then I'll hurry up and pack tonight. If Dad knows I'm bringing Pudding and Little Bean back, he'll be very happy. Okay, when you see second uncle, tell him to take care of his health. Okay, my dad will be fine. Big Brother, don't worry. Take good care of my sister-in-law at home. Hearing this, Qin Chu didn't respond. He looked at his watch and saw that it was getting late. He got up, then I'll go first. You haven't drunk the tea yet? No, I have something to do. You and Tang Chuan should get ready. With that, Qin Chu walked out. When Tang Chuan boiled the water, made the tea, and came down with the teacups, Qin Chu was nowhere to be seen. Baby, where's brother-in-law? Let's go. What the fuck? Let's go. How am I supposed to make tea? Tang Chuan felt like his efforts were in vain. Take it down. I'll drink it. Qi Ning waved her hand. Hee, all right. Baby, have a taste of my tea brewing skills. Tang Chuan leaned over and hugged Qi Ning's shoulders. Then, the two of them held their teacups and took small sips of the fragrant tea, honey. Qi Ning said. Are you calling me? Tang Chuan thought he was hallucinating. My dear husband. Qi Ning said again. Cough cough, little ancestor. I'm not used to you being like this. Qi Ning always called him Tang Chuan, so when he heard Qi Ning calling him hubby and darling, he was a little confused. Honey, let's go on a trip. Sure, no problem. Tang Chuan agreed without hesitation. Then, he thought of a popular song recently and sang it. I want to take you to romantic Turkey, then we'll go to Tokyo and Paris. Chapter 42-44. Yeah. But I still want to go. No, little ancestor. Calm down. Don't mess around. I'm not messing around. Do you really want to go? Yes, Tang Chuan. Qi Ning picked up the black card and placed it in Tang Chuan's hand. My brother gave me this. It's a travel fund of 10 million yuan. Brother-in-law, you're so particular. Tang Chuan smiled as he held the black card. Yeah. My brother only has one request. What request? To take Pudding and Little Bean, Tang Chuan. 10 minutes later, Qi Ning told Tang Chuan about her brother's request and patiently explained it to him. So the current situation is that we have to take the two little guys on a 1-month trip, you can say that. I see, what? Do you have a problem with that? Qi Ning questioned. No. I don't have a problem with that. I just think. Brother-in-law is so strange. He's giving us so much money to take us away for such a long time. What's he going to do? My brother is always reliable. Don't worry. But since he left the kids in our care, we have to take good care of them. That's for sure. Even if you lose me, you can't lose those two ancestors. Tang Chuan chuckled. You're right. Qin Ning smiled deliberately. Ha! That's not right. I heard that Lord Su is going to take the two little guys to Tokyo. Tang Chuan suddenly remembered that Su Yu had mentioned it before. Obviously, the plan has changed. Does Lord Su know about it? Tang Chuan was a bit worried. That's not our concern. Since my brother made the arrangements, Lord Su must have taken care of it as well. Okay. Since brother-in-law is paying for it, let's play to our heart's content. Right. After Tang Chuan and Qin Ning made the arrangements, Qin Ning drove to Southside Recuperation Center. Cece was still in the hospital and Rick had been here all this time. When Qin Chu arrived, he first entered the ward to check on Cece and the baby out of courtesy. He even gave a generous gift, a piece of high-grade Xinjiang Hitian jade. It was a gift for Rick's daughter. It was bought by Qin Chu at an auction last month for 12 million yuan. The jade was transparent and of excellent quality. Both Cece and Rick were overjoyed. Qin Chu, as a friend, valued his good buddy and was happy to have a daughter. It could be seen that Rick also loved the child very much. He basically held the child in his arms and even fed the child himself. He was simply a super stay-at-home dad. After coaxing little Ajin to sleep, Rick left the room and went to a remote corridor in the hospital with Qin Chu. Have you decided to send the twins away first? Yes, when we get to America, you have to send more people to protect them. I'm afraid that Ian's people will play tricks, Qin Chu said. Don't worry, the United States is my territory. That terrorist and his mafia brothers wouldn't dare to be so brazen. Yes, I'm assured with you in charge. What's next? Do you have any plans? Yes, I'm going to fight a tough battle. Qin Chu took a puff of his cigarette. How can I help you? Not for now. Just take good care of Cece and the baby. I'll let you know if I need anything. Okay, be careful. Okay. The conversation between the two men was simple and concise, but it didn't affect their brotherhood at all. After talking to Rick for a while, Qin Chu drove to the Municipal Public Security Bureau. The Municipal Public Security Bureau received another report, but this time, it wasn't a missing person. Chu, you're here at the right time. I'm going crazy. Come with me, I'll show you something. When Gao Ran saw Qin Chu, he was very excited. He pulled him by the arm and walked straight to the forensic room. Chapter 42-45. Qin Chu had come to talk to Gao Ran about the case, but Gao Ran pulled him directly into the forensic room. Of course, he couldn't enter casually. Fortunately, Gao Ran was powerful enough. Chief Gao. Inside, the forensic doctor and an assistant greeted Gao Ran. Qin Chu looked at the corpse on the bed with a subtle look in his eyes. Fortunately, Qin Chu was also a medical student and had strong psychological endurance. Gao Ran glanced at it and swallowed his saliva. As a police officer for many years, he had seen the world. He definitely couldn't vomit in front of outsiders. How embarrassing would that be? However, the corpse on the bed was really too horrible to look at. How is it? Old son. Gao Ran suppressed his nausea and glanced at the forensic doctor. The time of death is less than 3 hours. The murderer's method is extremely cruel. He must have used a weapon to tear the body apart. After the forensic doctor finished speaking, Qin Chu glanced at the corpse again. It indeed looked like a ferocious beast had disemboweled it. It was a bloody scene. Where was the body found? Qin Chu asked Gao Ran. In the southwest corner of Nanwan Park. Do you know that birch forest? Yes. That's the place. Who found it? Chin Chu frowned. A young couple said that they were walking on the road in the park. Then, they smelled a strong smell of blood. They went over to take a look. Do you know the cause of death? Chin Chu looked at the forensic doctor. The forensic doctor obviously didn't dare to say more to Chin Chu. Old son, this is my best friend. It's okay. Tell him. He'll keep it a secret, Gao Ran said. The forensic doctor nodded and looked at Chin Chu and then at Gao Ran. So far, according to our analysis, the cause of his death is that the artery in his neck was cut open by a sharp object. That's why he's bleeding non-stop. But the strange thing is, we didn't find much blood at the scene. Chief Gao, can you investigate and see if there's an underground organization that resells blood? I don't think so. It's not worth much. Aren't all the human organs still there? The other parts are still there, but the heart is gone. The forensic doctor pointed at the corpse's chest with his tools. Gao Ran sucked in a breath of cold air. Could it really be those dark organizations that resell human organs? This method is too fucking cruel. When I catch him, I will definitely shoot him. Gao Ran couldn't take it anymore and cursed. Chin Chu, on the other hand, was puzzled. He put on his white gloves and walked over. He walked up to the corpse and looked at the position of the heart that the forensic doctor had mentioned. Then, he looked at the artery on the neck. Then, he walked back and said, Old Gao, let's talk somewhere else. All right. Then, Gao Ran and Chin Chu walked out and went straight to Gao Ran's office. The young policeman poured 2 cups of coffee and came in. Gao Ran, on the other hand, wanted to vomit when he smelled the coffee. In the end, he couldn't help but rush to the bathroom and vomit. Then, he walked out with a pale face. Chu, let me tell you, I've been a police officer for so many years, but I've never seen such a cruel murderer. He's not human at all. He's a beast. Look at how badly the corpse has been damaged. If a female police officer saw it, wouldn't she be scared out of her wits? Gao Ran complained helplessly. It's indeed very cruel. Chin Chu agreed with Gao Ran's point of view. You've also studied medicine, and you've just seen the wounds on the corpse. What kind of weapon do you think the murderer used? Because the forensic doctor hadn't analyzed the murderer's weapon, Gao Ran was more inclined to ask Chin Chu, who had studied medicine, about the murderer's weapon. Chapter 42-46. Chin Chu had a complicated look in his eyes. He glanced at Gao Ran but didn't say anything. Why are you looking at me? Tell me. I'm afraid you won't be able to accept it. Nonsense. I'm a police officer. I've seen all kinds of cases. Tell me, I'll definitely accept it. Gao Ran felt that Chin Chu was making a big fuss over nothing. What did he mean by he couldn't accept it? He wasn't the kind of police officer who only knew how to sit in the office and drink tea. He was a bureau chief who had been through hundreds of battles and solved countless cases. I think the murder weapon was a fingernail. What? Gao Ran almost thought that there was something wrong with his ears and that he had misheard, so he said with uncertainty, What? I said, I think the murder weapon was a fingernail. Fingernail? Are you kidding me? Gao Ran was dumbfounded. You know me, old Gao. I never joke, especially in such a serious situation. I won't, the fingernail is too strong. A fingernail can tear a person to this extent. Do you think the murderer is a Siberian tiger or a Tibetan mastiff? Gao Ran felt that Chin Chu's conclusion was ridiculous and couldn't convince him. I took a look at the wound on the victim's neck. It was a tear mark. The wound was very deep and didn't look like it was made with a sharp tool, but it can't be a fingernail. How powerful would a fingernail have to be to do that? So the murderer is a psychopath. Gao Ran continued. A psychopath like an extraordinary person, Qin Chu concluded. A psychopath like an extraordinary person. What the hell is that? Let's put it this way, old Gao. I think the murderer is someone who has greater strength than an ordinary person or a unique skill. That's impossible. This isn't a movie. It's too mysterious. Why don't you just say superpower? Could it be an alien? Gao Ran felt that Qin Chu was overthinking things, so he didn't believe it at all. Qin Chu didn't say anything else. Besides, if it was a fingernail wound, how strong would a person be? Like a beast. Plus, we didn't find any traces of the murderer in the victim's flesh. If it was done by fingernails, there would be dandruff tissue inside. Chu, although you're a genius and a genius doctor, your conclusion is unscientific. Who's the victim's name? Did you find it? Qin Chu saw that Gao Ran didn't believe him, so he didn't say anything else. His name is Ji Changhe. He's 35 years old and unemployed. He makes a living by swindling and extorting people. He's addicted to gambling. He once had a wife, but they divorced. It's said that his wife married far away with their son. His parents live in the countryside of Mengqing County. He rents a bungalow in the slums. He pays 200 yuan a month, but the landlord says that he's been 3 months late in paying the rent. He doesn't want to leave even when he's chased away. He even said that he's going to burn down the house. None of the neighbors have anything to do with him. They all think of him as a malignant tumor. Then why would a man like him go to Nanwan Park so late at night? Qin Chu was curious. I find it strange too. My men investigated him and said that he had a hobby of swimming. The weather has been warmer recently, and some parts of the ice in Nanwan Park have melted. Many people go swimming in the winter, and this guy probably went swimming. Also, there was alcohol in his system, so he probably went swimming after drinking. Did he have any enemies when he was alive? Qin Chu continued to ask Gao Ran. Chapter 42-47. He has a lot of enemies. This kind of person likes to gamble and has poor social relations. He's the kind that's not welcomed anywhere. But I've investigated a lot of his enemies, such as people from the casino and people who lent him money. Everyone has alibis. These are not the most important. The most important thing is, the surveillance camera captured him swimming alone, and the surveillance camera in the park also captured that he didn't come into contact with anyone else. So he died for no reason, Qin Chu said in a declarative tone. How is that possible? I don't believe in ghosts killing people. Even if many people drowned in Nanwan Park and people wanted to catch a scapegoat, they wouldn't kill the body so cruelly and take out the heart and blood, right? This is obviously a premeditated suspect. He's extremely psychopathic and cruel. Most importantly, he died less than 3 hours ago, so that person can't have gone far. I've already asked my men to block the road and chase after him. I'm afraid they'll return empty-handed. What do you mean, Chu? You can't discourage me. As a citizen of our city, you have to support the police. I support you. I'm just stating a fact. What fact? That you can't catch the suspect at all. Chu, you're questioning my ability. Gao Ran was a little displeased. He didn't understand why Qin Chu was so sure that he couldn't catch the suspect. No, what I want to say is that the murderer has extraordinary abilities. You can't catch him. Damn it. Here you go again. You've watched too much Star Wars. Extraordinary people. How can there be so many extraordinary people? I don't want to talk to you anymore. Why did you come to me? If you want to drink, as you can see, I don't have time. I'm investigating a case. If you want to eat supper, I can't eat. Damn it. I almost threw up just now. I came to you. Forget it. It's okay. Seeing that Gao Ran didn't really believe in the idea of extraordinary people, Chin Chu didn't want to talk about it anymore. Are you okay? Gao Ran asked when he saw that Chin Chu didn't look too good. I'm fine. Continue with your work. Be careful. I'm going back now. Yes. Chin Chu drove straight back to South Hill Manor. When he returned, the maid was still wiping the floor in the living room. Sir is back. Is she back? Chin Chu asked. Oh, madam is back. When did you come back? About half an hour ago. All right, I got it. Chin Chu then went upstairs and walked to the bedroom door. Through the gap, he saw that the lights inside were still on. This proved that she was still awake. Chin Chu pushed the door open and entered. What he saw was Hua Min in his pajamas. His hair was wet, as if he had just taken a shower. Hubby, you're back. Did you go out just now? Chin Chu asked her. Yeah, I drove your sports car out. She smiled. Where did you go? Are you so concerned about me now? Do I even have to report to you where I go? She continued to smile. No. I heard from Gao Ran that there was a murder in Nanwan Park, so I was worried that something might have happened to you. What a coincidence. I really just came back from Nanwan Park. She smiled eerily. Chin Chu's heart sank. He knew that everything that happened in Sea City after Jingda's death had something to do with her. What did you do there? I went to Nanwan Park, to see the scenery. Ha ha ha. The woman gave a reason that even she couldn't believe. Everyone knew that Nanwan Park was a park in the slums. The scenery there wasn't beautiful, especially in winter, so there was nothing to see there. Her answer was an obvious provocation. Or did she think that Chin Chu was an idiot who didn't know anything? Chapter 42-48. In the end, Chin Chu only smiled with a complicated expression. How do you like the scenery? It's great. Okay, that's good. Go to sleep. Chin Chu turned around, closed the door, and left. Hua Min seemed to be used to this frequency. He had been ignored for a long time. Chin Chu went straight into the study and immediately sent a WeChat message to Su Yu. Maybe it was because it was inconvenient to call at home. Chin Chu, you there? Su Yu, yeah. Chin Chu, I want to talk to you about something. Su Yu, go ahead. Su Yu was used to Chin Chu's coldness and reticence. Chin Chu, the trip to Japan is cancelled. Su Yu, what do you mean? Chin Chu, Pudding and Little Bean won't go to Japan with you. Su Yu, why? Chin Chu, because Mian said that she was afraid that you wouldn't be able to take care of the kids if they went with you alone. She wanted to go too, but I rejected her. Su Yu, Mian did tell me about this, but I didn't agree. It's not good for my reputation. I can't go to Japan with her. What's going on? It doesn't sound good. Su Yu remembered Hua Min's unreasonable request in the hospital room that day and still felt a lingering fear. Chin Chu, yes, so after weighing the pros and cons, I decided not to let Little Bean and Pudding go. Su Yu, but they'll be very disappointed. I promised them a long time ago. I even booked the plane tickets and hotel. It'll be a pity if they don't go. Chin Chu, it's okay. There will be chances in the future. I'm sorry this time. Su-yu, don't say that. You're in a difficult position too. I know. I don't know what's wrong with Mion. She's been acting weird lately. Chin-chu, why do you say that? Su-yu, I can't say for sure. It's just a feeling. Alright, go back to your work. I'm going out to eat something. Su-yu didn't continue to talk about this topic, and Chin-chu didn't ask either. Su-yu said that he was eating, but in fact, he was eating and drinking with a group of rich second-generation heirs. Recently, he had been feeling depressed, especially after he found out that Cece had given birth to a daughter and Rick was the father. A few of his friends, namely Wei Liao, Xiao Wei, Tang Chuan, and Qin Ning, were all talking about it. Now, he didn't know if it was because of Su-yu's shadow or something else, but as long as the child was mentioned, Su-yu would feel an inexplicable sense of guilt. The scene before the explosion in Yunnan kept appearing in his mind. Then, she recalled that Huamin's child was gone just like that. Then, she felt an indescribable sense of suffocation in her heart. Everyone knew that Cece's child was similar to Huamin's. Now, Rick was the father. Chin-chu and Huamin's relationship was extremely tense. He always felt that it was his fault, although he knew that everyone didn't want him to think that way. However, he still couldn't help but blame himself. Su-yu was a well-known bachelor. He had been single for several years. Other than there was no one else by his side. Therefore, after work, if he wasn't busy, he would be bored and empty. Thus, he began his days of indulging in debauchery. Coincidentally, ever since Tang Chuan had Qin Ning, he had become a good young man. Therefore, Su-yu couldn't find any confidants in the nightclub. He could only drink with the rich people to relieve his boredom. And was waiting outside. He knew what his president was thinking. A few rich people were famous for loving young models, so the nightclub manager walked in with a group of young models. No one dared to speak first. Lord Su, you choose first. In order to show Su-yu's nobility, everyone let Su-yu choose first. Su-yu narrowed his eyes, leaned against the sofa, and glanced. Chapter 42-49. Just as he was about to point casually and get away with it, suddenly, the door to the private room opened. President Su, Han Huiyao rushed in sportswear with a black MBL cap on her head. She looked very handsome. However, even though this young lady was good-looking and looked good in anything, it was really not suitable for her to wear sportswear to a nightclub. Everyone in the private room was dumbfounded. Isn't that Han Huiyao? Yeah, she's the new popular star of Imperial Star. She looks good in person. Yeah, look at how fair her hands are. Ha! She's pretty. Among these entertainment companies, only the female artists from Imperial Star are the prettiest. I prefer Nie Lingxuan's type. She's so gentle that you can squeeze water out of her. I like Jian Tong's type. She's beautiful and cold. It must be fun to play with her. Ha, I'm different from you guys. I like Gao Yeruo, the captain of the trainees. Although she's not famous, she has a good figure and big breasts. I heard that she often does breast maintenance. She has the golden ratio. It must feel good to touch. In a place like this, it was normal to hear such dirty words. These rich second-generation heirs were all players, and none of them were honorable gentlemen. Therefore, the moment Han Huiyao entered, it was destined to be the highlight of the night. Han Huiyao ignored these people and approached Su-yu. President Su. Why are you here? Su-yu was puzzled. I was afraid it would be awkward if you didn't have a companion. I'm here to accompany you. Before Su-yu could say anything, Han Huiyao sat down beside Su-yu. They were very close to each other, and people outside could see what was going on. Before Su-yu could speak, the rich second-generation heirs began to jeer. Lord Su, since you have a companion, why didn't you say so earlier? Ha, let's pick first. As they spoke, several rich second-generation heirs picked a few young models with hot figures. Then, they began to drink and sing. Who told you to come? Su Yu was puzzled. How did Han Yueao know he was here? He didn't send her a WeChat message. Before she could speak, Su Yu said, and must have told him, right? No, I saw some paparazzi gossiping about you, so I came over. Paparazzi. Su Yu was speechless. President Su, if you don't want your reputation to be ruined, you should cooperate with me. After all, it's normal to have a scandal with your own female artist, but it's not good if you hang out with those girls. What do you think? In any case, he's an old man. Don't go overboard, okay? You're old. Su Yu touched his forehead, wanting to punch her since she was implying that he was old. What the hell are you doing? Han Yueao. I'm not messing with you. I'm here to save you. To be exact, I'm here to save you. Thank you for your kindness, but I don't need you to save me. Don't you still have work tomorrow? Hurry up and go back. Su Yu asked her to leave. He didn't want such a clean girl like Han Yueao to get involved in this nightclub. Subconsciously, he was doing it for her own good. If you leave, I'll leave. If you don't, I won't leave. Han Yueao seemed to have made up her mind. You're playing with me, right? Su Yu laughed in exasperation. President Su. Even if we're playing with women, can we play with tasteful women? I really despise you. Su Yu. Chapter 4250. Come on, when did I play with women? Which eye of yours saw it? Su Yu couldn't say anything about the pain in his heart. How dare you say you didn't? If I hadn't come in, you might have started choosing. Han Yueao pouted as she pointed at the young models with hot figures. Sure. Keep your voice down. Su Yu was helpless. Don't you think so? Yes, yes, yes. Whatever you say is right. Su Yu didn't want to continue arguing with Han Yueao. Then how long are you going to play? If you like to drink, I'll play with you. If you like to sing, I'll play with you. Then, Han Yueao snatched the microphone from a man's hand. Then, she shouted, Handsome, pick a song for me. Okay, Miss Han, what do you want to sing? The hottest ethnic style. The moment Han Yueao said the title of the song, everyone was shocked. Su Yu almost stuck his head into the sofa. Before Han Yueao could sing, Su Yu stood up, grabbed her arm, and walked out. Sorry, everyone, I'll leave first. You guys continue. They walked to the corridor. Why are you leaving? I haven't sung yet. Han Yueao smiled. Look at your smug face, how ugly. I won't play with you, okay? Don't continue to shock me. Look at you, you're a newly popular idol and goddess, but you don't care about your image at all. The hottest ethnic style, why don't you sing Counting Ducks? I want to sing. If you want to listen, I'll sing. Okay, that's enough. Stop fooling around. Go home. Su Yu knew Han Yueao was here to cause trouble. So, he hurriedly urged her to go home. No, not unless you go home too. I'll go home. I don't believe you unless I go home with you. I'll go home after you fall asleep. Wait, Han Yueao, what's wrong with you? Are you my mother? Why are you so controlling? Su Yu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. If you want to call her mom, I don't mind, but Auntie Sue will definitely be upset. After all, she worked so hard to raise you. Fuck. Su Yu was speechless. Unlike Huamin, Han Yueao was good at talking back. Huamin was sharp-tongued, while Han Yueyao was a joker. This made Su feel embarrassed even if he wanted to fall out with her. Besides, I'm only 25 years old and don't have a son as old as you. Han Yueyao continued to smile. Stop fooling around. Let's go. Su felt that it was not good to continue talking back here. If others saw it, they would think something was wrong. So, he simply pulled her out of the room, seeing his boss come out, and followed him out. Finally, Su gave in and drove them back to Suyu's mansion. It was already 11:30 p.m. when they arrived at Suyu's villa. Okay, I'm going home. You should go home too. No, what if you go to those shady places after I leave? Shady places. Suyu was speechless. Han Yueyao used shady places to describe those nightclubs, which showed how much she disliked those places. What? Am I wrong? And, tell me. Han Yueyao asked him to be the judge. I, and didn't dare to offend either side. In the end, he only said, President Su, we should avoid those places. Your health is more important. Chapter 42-51. Damn it. Whose side are you on? Suyu was furious that Mr. N had betrayed him and spoke up for Han Yueyao. Did you see that? Suyu. The masses have sharp eyes. Okay. You're right. I'm going to sleep, go to sleep, no way. You're going to supervise me. Suyu was surprised. Yes. But I sleep naked, what a coincidence. So do I. Do you want to sleep together? Han Yueyao asked him with a grin. Suyu, damn it. I'm impressed. I've never been impressed by anyone in all these years, but I'm impressed by you. Han Yueyao. You're so ruthless, Suyu was completely speechless. How could Han Yueyao ask him to sleep naked together? Suyu was at his wit's end. He wasn't thick-skinned enough to say those dirty words. So, was he being mercilessly teased by a little girl? Listening to them, An laughed so hard that he almost couldn't breathe. Furious, Suyu turned around and went upstairs, throwing his jacket on the floor on the first floor. After Suyu went upstairs, and turned around and gave Han Yueyao a thumbs up. Han Yueyao, thank you, about half an hour later, and went upstairs to bring Suyu some medicine to sober him up and found that Suyu had fallen asleep. Han Yueyao stood up, then I'll go back too. I'll drive you. No. It's so late. You must be sleepy. I'll take a taxi. I'll book one with the app. No, it's too late. It's not safe, it's okay. There aren't so many evil things. Now that the app has a real name system, I booked a luxury car to pick me up. It's relatively safe. Go to sleep. Han Yueyao came from a grassroots background and knew that it wasn't easy for An. It was so late. If An drove her back, he would drive her back. It was about 30 to 40 kilometers from the Imperial Star Dormitory to Suyu's mansion. It was also quite torturous, so no matter how much An expressed that he wanted to send her. Ignoring him, Han Yueyao stood up and walked out. Big Yao Yao, you came here today to get President Su back, right? Yeah, I don't like to see him drowning his sorrows and giving up on himself. I know that after Sister Mion's accident, he's been devastated, but he hasn't been able to find a way to vent. I know that. Yes, it's not easy for the boss either. I just hope that he can slowly walk out of this. Everything will get better. Suyu is so good. He deserves a better life. At that moment, she smiled warmly. And suddenly felt that it would be great if the boss liked such a good girl. However, he wasn't the boss, and the boss wouldn't listen to him. Big Yao Yao, you're a good girl. Keep it up, you'll become a big star. Forget about being a superstar. Earning more money is the way to go. Ha! The only way to solve my problems is to get rich. She made a V sign and went out. She got into the car she had booked online. Worried that she might be in danger, and memorized the license plate number. Then, he told her to send him a WeChat message when she arrived at the dormitory. There were always many stories in this world. For some people, you liked them, and they liked you. For some people, you liked them, but they didn't know that you liked them. For some people, they knew that you liked them, but they didn't like you back. For Han Yueyao, she liked you, but she knew that you didn't like her. You liked someone else, but she was still willing to like you. That night, it was very dark, but Han Yueyao was so happy that she pulled Suyu back from the nightclub. It was as if she had done a great charity. Suyu, I'll protect you. I'll protect you forever, until the day we disappear from this world. Chapter 42-52. At this moment, Lu Yan's nest, which was the island where Qiao Fei was dead silent. Not many people knew that the professor had come and was here as well. They only knew that their new boss, Qiao Fei, had never accepted any missions. He had been spending a lot of money to find Lu Yan. Those who suspected Qiao Fei of having ulterior motives were completely relieved. Perhaps no one in the world was more eager to find Lu Yan than Qiao Fei. Sitting in Lu Yan's office, Qiao Fei touched the ring on his finger. It's been so many days. Yan, where are you? Are you being controlled or have you lost your memory and can't come home? Qiao Fei's heart was beyond anxious. Young Master Qiao. A subordinate came to report. Qiao Fei looked up. A call from Russia, no. But, the caller said, the subordinate didn't dare to finish his sentence at once. Qiao Fei lowered his head, his face cold. But the person who called said that he was your father. The man was a little worried and said this sentence cautiously. Qiao Fei still said, no. Ever since he announced that he would cut ties with his father and never inherit the family position, he really didn't plan to go back to Russia. He didn't care about being the biggest Russian mafia or the biggest arms dealer. Without Lu Yan, what was the use of money? What was the use of power? What was the use of the family position? All of these couldn't be exchanged for Lu Yan. After the subordinate left, the door was pushed open again. Didn't I say not to answer any calls from Russia? I don't want to have anything to do with them anymore. Qiao Fei's voice was so cold that it made people tremble. Fei, your father is doing this for your own good. A loving voice sounded. Qiao Fei looked up and stood up politely. Uncle Lu. Don't blame your father. He has his difficulties in his position. I can't understand him, just like he can never understand me. I don't blame him, but I don't want to listen to him. Qiao Fei was still stubborn. He always thought Yan was the instigator. If it weren't for Yan, you wouldn't. Before Professor Lu could finish, Qiao Fei interrupted him. It's not like that, Uncle Lu. Even without Yan, I would still leave him. My father's position really doesn't suit me. It's not what I want. Professor Lu nodded. He appreciated Qiao Fei's decisiveness. Uncle Lu, you've locked yourself up for 2 days. Have you thought of any important clues? Qiao Fei placed his last hope on Professor Lu. After all, in their eyes, the professor was omnipotent. Emisham, I want to try my last resort. Professor Lu nodded. What? Qiao Fei asked expectantly. I want to go to the place where I first met Linya and see if I can find her. The place where you and Dr. Lin first met, where was that? Xiao Fei knew very little about Linya and Professor Lu. After all, even Lu Yen rarely mentioned them. Indonesia, Bali. Professor Lu smiled. His smile was gentle, but there was a hint of helplessness. If Dr. Linya was really still alive but avoided him, what did that mean? It meant Professor Lu didn't seem to have a place in Dr. Linya's heart. This was a fatal blow to Professor Lu. Chapter 42-53. Uncle Lu, did you meet each other in Bali? Xiao Fei was surprised. Lu Yan had never told him about her parents' past. Maybe even Lu Yan didn't know about it. Professor Lu nodded. Yeah, that time, I went to Bali to study the active volcano of Agung in Bali to collect ore samples, and Linya was in Bali as a surveyor. At that time, Bali wasn't a famous international resort, and there weren't that many foreigners. Therefore, the two of us were easily attracted to each other. That's how we met. That's how the story came to be. Uncle Lu, it's a good thing that you want to visit the old place again. I'll send someone to protect you. Professor Lu waved his hand. No. Since I said I'm visiting the old place again, I'll be alone. Besides, I won't be in any danger. Linya won't do anything to me. It's not Dr. Lin I'm afraid of. Ian, hearing Xiao Fei's words, Professor Lu chuckled. Little Fei. You don't have to worry about that. Not to mention Ian and his people, even the forces that wanted to capture me all these years won't dare to appear. Do you think they're not afraid of the Doomsday Death God? Doomsday Death God. Xiao Fei froze. He suddenly remembered that Qin Chu and Rick had found out that Mr. Y behind Xiao Qingya was from the Doomsday Death God. Later, Xiao Qingya and Mr. Y died without any evidence and no one mentioned this mysterious and terrifying organization. But the Doomsday Death God had been around for so many years, how could it disappear just because of Mr. Y's death? It could only mean that Mr. Y was just the tip of the iceberg, a small fry. Now that Professor Lu mentioned the Doomsday Death God, Xiao Fei fell into deep thought. He knew Professor Lu wouldn't talk about unconfirmed rumors. Could it be, Fei, I have a feeling that the Doomsday Death God must be related to Linya. Maybe, it's Linya's organization. Really? Xiao Fei was shocked. Lu Yan's mother, Professor Lu's wife, the medical genius, and the most beautiful woman in the Middle East. She had a beautiful face that could make people fall in love with her at first sight. How could it be related to the Doomsday Death God that struck fear in people's hearts? She was the founder of the organization. This turn of events caught Xiao Fei off guard. To be exact, he was not mentally prepared at all. I can't tell you the specifics yet. It's just a feeling. So, you're saying that wherever the Doomsday Reaper appears, even the FBI will have to stay away, right? Uncle Lu, if Dr. Linya is really related to that organization, wouldn't it be extremely dangerous for you to go there? Is that all the more reason for me to send someone to protect you? Forget it. No matter how many people we send, it won't help. It will only alert the enemy. Don't worry, if it's really Linya, she won't kill me. Professor Lu smiled again, but this smile was full of helplessness. Lu Yan's disappearance, Huamin's explosion, and her miscarriage were all fatal blows to Professor Lu. Finally, Professor Lu mysteriously left the island alone. After putting on a human skin mask and obtaining someone's fingerprints, he successfully left the country and flew directly to Bali, Indonesia. Bali had high temperatures all year round. It was only divided into rainy and dry seasons. Every year, from October to March, it was rainy and rainy. The day Professor Lu arrived in Bali, there was a thunderstorm. Because of his identity, he didn't stay in a 5-star hotel by the sea. Instead, he contacted a local private villa and chose to stay in a private villa near Ubud. This was Professor Lu's second visit to Bali after more than 20 years. He had a feeling that something important was waiting for him. Chapter 42-54. The next morning, Professor Lu got up early, had a simple breakfast, and drove to the Holy Spring Temple. This was the place where he and Linya first met. The Holy Spring Temple was a temple that the locals believed in. Bali was a place where Hindus believed in Buddhism, and every family had to worship Buddha. Many rich people even built temples in their own yards to tell the Buddha that they were safe. The Holy Spring Temple was the most famous temple, especially for its holy water. Many people came here to wash their faces and hair, hoping to get some luck. Perhaps it was because after Bali became an international tourist destination, it began to attract tourists. Almost every day, every month, every year, there were many tourists. Looking at the buses coming and going, and the faces of the Chinese people coming and going, Professor Lu had mixed feelings. He wore a sun hat and carried a backpack. Just like an ordinary tourist, he entered the Holy Spring Temple. Then, he looked at these familiar yet strange scenes and sketched out scenes of the past. He didn't know if his idea was right or not. There was no evidence that Linya was still alive, or had she been resurrected? He thought for a few days and hundreds of possibilities, but in the end, he rejected them one by one, because he believed that Linya still loved him. Even if she lied to him and hid it from him, she must have her reasons. That must be it. And he had a strong feeling in his heart that he would see Linya again here. Looking at the most familiar holy spring water in the Holy Spring Temple, he took out his phone and wanted to take a picture, to record this beautiful moment. Suddenly, a group of tourists interrupted him. A male tourist rudely knocked the phone in Professor Lu's hand, and it fell to the ground. He didn't even say sorry. Professor Lu quietly bent down, lowered his head, and picked it up. However, he found that a pair of beautiful jade-like hands had already picked up his phone before he could. Then, she reached out and handed it to him. "Thank you," Professor Lu said in English. "You're welcome." As soon as the woman spoke, Professor Lu's whole body froze. His hand holding the phone trembled slightly. Then, he slowly raised his head. At that moment, his heart seemed to have stopped beating. Linya appeared in front of him without any warning. She was alive and standing in front of him. Professor Lu gasped. Then, he wanted to say something, but he was so emotional that he didn't know what to say. His eyes were filled with sparkling and translucent tears. This old man in his 50s was like a child at this moment. He was so excited that he didn't know what to do. He had fantasized countless times about meeting Linya when she woke up. However, none of them were as unpredictable as today's situation. He thought that it would take a long time for Linya to come. But he hadn't expected that on the first day he arrived, he would meet him in the Holy Spring Temple. Everything felt like a dream, yeah. After a long time, Professor Lu forced out 2 words. As soon as he spoke, his voice didn't seem to be his own. It was so absent-minded. "Old Lu, long time no see." Linya smiled with a sweet smile. Her smile was still so beautiful. She was wearing a Balinese long dress with a ribbon tied around her waist. Her long hair fell to her waist, and there was a beautiful forehead ornament on her forehead in the shape of a deep blue water droplet. It was extremely beautiful. Her voice and her appearance were the same as many years ago, as if time couldn't cause any damage to her. Linya was still so young and beautiful, but the professor was already white-haired. Chapter 42-55. Yeah, long time no see. We really haven't seen each other for many years. Professor Lu finally couldn't hold it in anymore. A tear rolled down his cheek. Linya raised her hand and wiped his tears. "Don't cry, I'm back." The words "I'm back" melted Professor Lu's heart again. He didn't care about his image or the gazes of others and hugged Linya. More than 20 years ago, they first met here. Now that so many years had passed, he was reunited with Linya here. Professor Lu only had one thought in his mind. As long as Linya was alive, as long as she was alive and well, he didn't dare to do anything. Nothing else mattered. It really didn't matter. Then, Professor Lu got into Linya's car. Linya drove him back to a very remote and secluded private villa area. It was called a private villa area because it was too big. It was practically a manor. Birds chirped and flowers bloomed inside. It was very beautiful, like a palace. "This is..." Professor Lu was curious. "This is one of my properties. I bought it." Professor Lu didn't say anything and followed Linya all the way to the beautiful villa. Then, he sat on the sofa in the living room. The maid placed fruits and coconut juice on the coffee table. Professor Lu didn't seem to be interested in everything around him. He looked at Linya's familiar face and felt a mix of emotions. Or rather, he was touched. "Yeah, you're still so young. I can't believe it." Professor Lu clearly felt that Linya's young face was definitely not due to injections or plastic surgery. It was a very natural, young, and supernatural appearance. It wasn't the result of artificial maintenance. Linya smiled and didn't answer the question. Instead, she asked, "Old Lu, have you been well all these years?" "Not very well. I've been living in hiding." Linya didn't say anything. Professor Lu asked again, "What about you? When did you wake up? Why didn't you look for me?" After hearing this, Linya's eyes became a little complicated. She slowly reached out her hand and placed it on the back of Professor Lu's hand. The temperature from the back of his hand wasn't warm. It was cold. "Old Lu, there are many things that I don't know how to tell you or explain to you. In short, it's not something that can be explained in a few words. It's fine. Let's talk about it slowly. We have plenty of time." Professor Lu held her hand. "It's great to be able to see you again, Xiaoya. I used to think that because of my incompetence, I wouldn't be able to find a way to revive you, and I might not be able to see you again until the day I die." Professor Lu's heart was filled with shock. How could that be? Am I not standing in front of you now? Linya smiled. Yes, it's like a dream. I can't believe it. Old Lu, have something to drink first. Relax, we'll talk. I'm afraid you'll disappear again. Professor Lu held Linya's hand tightly and refused to let go. Or rather, he was reluctant to let go. I won't disappear. Don't worry, drink some coconut juice. I remember you used to like it the most. This is freshly squeezed coconut juice, it tastes really good. Linya picked up a cup and took a sip before handing it to Professor Lu. It was as if to prove that this thing was drinkable and not poisonous. Professor Lu took the coconut juice. Before he drank it, he suddenly asked Linya a question, catching her off guard. Xiaoya, Xiaoyan is in your hands, right? Chapter 42-56. Hearing Professor Lu's words, Linya's expression became even more subtle. Old Lu, drink the coconut juice first. I'll tell you the rest of what you want to know. I swear. Seeing Linya's promise and serious expression, Professor Lu nodded. In the end, he drank the coconut juice that he knew had been spiked. The coconut juice still tasted good. It was his favorite taste. But he also knew that Linya had done something to it. But what does that matter? Whatever Linya wanted to do, just let her be. After drinking the coconut juice, Professor Lu was in a daze. Is it good? Emichim. After he finished speaking, Professor Lu fell onto the sofa and fainted. Master, the professor was so easy to deal with. What are we afraid of? One of her subordinates walked over smugly. What do you know? He knew I spiked it, but he still drank it. Linya's expression was still very subtle. No one knew what she was thinking. Master, you're right. What should we do next? Take him to the plane and go back. Yes. Linya appeared immediately and took Professor Lu away. Huamin didn't know about this. Locked in that room, she was extremely anxious. The baby in her belly was due a long time ago, but there was no sign of it. She didn't know why. Even an experienced obstetrician like her was confused. Huamin paced back and forth in the room, extremely anxious. When Messiah came in to deliver lunch, she pulled Messiah aside. Miss Mian, what's wrong? Messiah, I want to see her. I want to see Linya. Master is out now. She's not here. She's not here. Yes. Then, can I see Yen? Hearing this, Messiah fell silent. From Huamin's conversation with Linya, he not only learned that Lu Yen was the child of Linya's clone, but also that Lu Yen was imprisoned here like him. Messiah, I'm begging you. I'm so worried about her. I want to see Yen. I'll be relieved if I see her. Otherwise, I'll be thinking too much. Upon hearing Huamin's words, Messiah finally nodded. This made Huamin extremely happy. She carefully followed Messiah through one white room after another, walking back and forth in the labyrinth. Finally, they arrived at a secret chamber. It was also a crystal coffin in a white room. Lu Yen lay there quietly. Little Yen, Lu Yen rushed over but was stopped by the transparent glass. Xiao Yen, what's wrong? Huamin's tears streamed down his face. Miss Mian, calm down. You're pregnant, Messiah comforted her. Messiah, is Yen dead? Why is she lying in a coffin? How could Huamin not be agitated? He remembered that Hua Xiqian was blown into pieces, but the clone was lying in a crystal coffin. With just one order from Linya, she could wake up and come back to life. Was that scary or sad? Miss Mian, calm down. Miss Yen isn't dead. She just went into hibernation. Hibernation? Huamin was confused. Yes. During the battle in Yunnan, Miss Yen and Miss Layla fought in close combat and were severely injured. After the master brought her back with you, she was frozen by the master. Now she's in hibernation and her life isn't in danger. But, why did Linya freeze her? Huamin frowned angrily. Miss Mian, you know that Miss Yen isn't the master's daughter. She's the daughter of the clone, Messiah explained. But she's also my father's daughter. Why did Linya do this to her? Huamin was furious. Chapter 42-57. I don't know the details. I'm just following orders. It's up to the master to decide. Messiah, open the glass. I want to see Yen. I'm sorry, Mian. I don't have that authority. Messiah. I beg you. I really love Yen. Nothing can happen to her. Even though Huamin knew she wasn't Lu Yan's biological sister, she still loved Lu Yan very much. She even envied Lu Yan for being a clone. Although the clone wasn't a pure human, the clone Linya had a kind heart. Although she was born from Linya's original body, this Linya was extremely evil. Miss Mian, it's useless to beg me. It's not that I'm heartless and don't want you sisters to see each other. It's just that the password for Miss Yan's crystal coffin comes from the master's retina. I can't do that. If I violate the rules, the master will cut me into pieces. From Messiah's words, Huamian knew how evil Linya was. Is Xiaoyan all right? Will she wake up? Huamin asked worriedly. Yes. Although Miss Yan's injuries are serious, the master has a way to heal her. You must know that half of Miss Yan's body is made up of the clone's genes. No matter how serious her injuries are, the genes can be recombined without any problems. I can guarantee that. Please don't worry. During his time here, Huamin learned that Messiah was a responsible servant. Although she was Linya's servant, she seemed to have a better conscience than Linya. Hearing Messiah's words, Huamin was relieved. At least Lu Yan's life wasn't in danger. She leaned against the glass and looked at Lu Yan in the crystal coffin. She was just like a sleeping beauty, lying there quietly. Even though she was asleep, her eyelashes were still beautiful. Her stunning face couldn't be hidden. It seemed that after the incident in Yunnan, not only was she brought here, but Yan was also brought here. What was happening in the outside world? Where were Yan's subordinates? Weren't they leaderless? Where was Qiao Fei, who loved Yan deeply? Would he be worried sick if he couldn't find Yan? Huamin's mind was in a mess. Miss Mian, the temperature here is very low. You're pregnant and shouldn't stay here for too long. Let's go back. Messiah advised. In the end, Huamin nodded and followed Messiah out of the secret chamber. Messiah. Why does Layla have her eyes on my husband? Huamin had always wanted to ask this question. She knew that it was better to ask Messiah than Linya. Because Linya's answer was not very credible. After a few seconds of silence, Messiah replied, Miss Layla, I met your husband in America a few years ago. A few years ago. Huamin narrowed his eyes and tried to recall carefully. It should have been during the 4 years that Qin Chu was in the United States, but he had never mentioned it to him. Besides, Miss Mian, don't forget that Miss Layla was made based on your appearance and has all your memories. After Messiah said this, Huamin suddenly understood. So, like me, Layla likes Qin Chu. Sort of. After all, they have so many shared memories, so there must be feelings involved. But the difference is that Miss Layla always knows her identity. She probably won't fall so deeply in love with Mr. Qin like Miss Mian does. What if Layla fails the mission? Will she kill Qin Chu? Huamin asked Messiah pessimistically. Chapter 42-58. That is Master's decision. I don't dare to say. Messiah didn't answer Huamin's question, but Huamin knew the situation wasn't very optimistic. Linya's logic was abnormal, and Layla's methods were even crueler. After returning to the room, Huamin was a little restless. She touched the baby in her belly. She could only keep talking to the baby. She didn't know if the baby could hear her. Yuyao, what should I do now? I'm worried about your father, your sisters, and your auntie. What should I do to save them? For the first time, Huamin felt so powerless. No matter how smart her brain was, it was useless at this moment. In Sea City, Qin Chu secretly drove the twins to the airport. To be exact, Qin Chu didn't tell his family that he was going on a trip with Qin Ning and Tang Chuan. Especially behind that woman's back. Tang Chuan and Qin Ning packed their luggage and showed up at the airport in a low-key manner, accompanied by 4 skilled bodyguards sent by Qin Chu. From afar, she saw Qin Chu appear with the 2 little guys. Brother, over here. Qin Ning waved her hand from afar. Wow, Auntie, you're so beautiful today. Little Bean immediately rushed over and began to flatter her. "Auntie, when aren't you beautiful?" Qin Ning laughed. "I mean, you're beautiful every day, but you're especially beautiful today. Auntie, you're so sexy in jeans. Really, my niece is so good at talking. It's as if her mouth is smeared with honey." Qin Ning was in a good mood. She only thought of this trip as an ordinary trip where her brother didn't have time to take care of the children. She didn't know that her brother had to deal with something forbidden at home. "Go. After the security check, go in and rest. It's almost time to board the plane." Qin Chu was actually reluctant to part with his daughters, but he had no choice. Now was a critical time. If he continued to keep the children at home, he couldn't guarantee that the perverted woman would do something to hurt his daughters. So, he could only temporarily send them away. Although this was a last resort, it was also a good way to protect the twins. "Daddy, I need to go to the bathroom," Pudding suddenly said. "There are some inside too. Let's go in. I'll take you there." Qin Ning didn't understand what Pudding meant. Pudding shook her head. "Daddy, take me there. I have something to say to you." "All right." Qin Chu knew that Pudding had always been sensible. Since she said that, she must have something to say. He watched as Qin Chu and Pudding left mysteriously. Tang Chuan was puzzled. What is this little adult trying to do now? "Oh, I think my sister asked my dad to manage her stocks. After all, she's a tough woman who can't live without stocks," Little Bean explained. "Yeah, I heard that your sister is a little rich now." Tang Chuan asked Little Bean. "How can that be? How can a little rich be enough? My sister is now a billionaire. She's even richer than me." Qin Ning laughed. "Yeah, you're all rich. I'm the only poor one. But it's okay. I can eat and drink for free and take your money. Ha! After all, our surnames are Qin." Little Bean laughed shamelessly. "Little Bean, you're good. You did the right thing. I like your shameless attitude." Tang Chuan laughed until tears came out of his eyes. Chapter 42:59. Little Bean replied proudly, "Didn't you read the news online? If you want to succeed, you have to be persistent, shameless, and persistent. Where did you learn all this nonsense from?" Qin Ning didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Online users. Online users are the most talented. Usually, the masters are among the people. Little Bean was playing with Qin Ning and Tang Chuan. She was wearing the same red down jacket as Pudding, black leather shoes, and a black top hat. The two sisters looked exactly the same. Anyone who saw them would be stunned. Luckily, Qin Ning and Tang Chuan could tell them apart. On the other side, near the washroom, Pudding stopped. She wasn't going to the washroom. "Daddy, baby, I know you want to talk to me." Qin Chu squatted down and touched Pudding's face. "Is it safe here? Can we talk?" "Yes, you can." As Qin Chu adjusted his collar, he turned on the anti-eavesdropping device that he always carried with him. He didn't want anyone to hear the conversation between him and his child. "Daddy, I heard that my sister and I will be away for a month." "Yes. We've never been away from you for so long. We'll miss you so much." "Daddy, you too. We'll send you videos every day of where you went, what you ate, and what you did. Remember to send them to Daddy. But remember, when you post on WeChat, don't use location. For example, after you take pictures of Paris and the Eiffel Tower, don't post them until your aunt takes you to Switzerland. When you go to the States, post the pictures of Switzerland, and so on," Qin Chu told Pudding patiently. Pudding nodded. I'll remember, Daddy. Many bad guys want to catch us. We can't expose our whereabouts. Yes, keep a low profile when you go out. Stay alert at all times. Don't get separated from Auntie and the bodyguards. Don't go out at night. Definitely. Then, Pudding turned on her phone and said, I've authorized Daddy to manage my stock account and password. Daddy, you can help me take a look every day, buy some in, and sell some out. You just need to ensure the liquidity and activity of the stock. Okay, no problem. Daddy will definitely help you make a profit. Chin Chu looked at Pudding lovingly. He was really proud of having such a cute daughter. There's one more important thing. I need to tell Daddy. What is it? She leaned close to Chin Chu's ear and whispered, Be careful of Mommy. Chin Chu's expression changed slightly when he heard this. Pudding, how did you find out? Daddy, don't you think Mommy has been acting weird ever since she came back from Yunnan? Pudding asked. I think so. Yes, other than having the same face and the same voice, she really doesn't look like Mommy. So I think there might be more to this matter. I wanted to tell you a few times at home, but Daddy always gave me a look. Maybe I thought there might be something eavesdropping at home, and I was afraid it would be dangerous for me to say it, so I didn't say it. But now that Daddy sent me and my sister out, there must be a reason. You and Grandpa and Grandma will be left alone to face that strange woman, so you must be careful. Pudding patted Chin Chu's shoulder as she spoke like a little adult. At that moment, Chin Chu felt tears welling up in his eyes. Pudding, I'm very, very proud to have a daughter like you, Chin Chu said with a choked voice. Chapter 4260. Pudding wasn't even 4 years old, but what she said didn't sound like something a 4-year-old would say at all. I'm proud to have a father like you. Mr. Chin, I hope you can handle everything smoothly in the next month. When Little Bean and I come back, I hope everything will be over. As for you and Mom, our family of 4 will return to the way it was before. Pudding imitated Little Bean's tone and said these words to her father. Chin Chu stopped crying and smiled. Of course. I'll give you a great father and mother, not like this. Promise Daddy that you'll take good care of yourself. It's a promise. Pudding said and kissed Chin Chu's cheek seriously. She knew that her daddy had done a lot for her, her sister, and this family. There were many things in the adult world that children couldn't understand. But for Pudding and Little Bean, Chin Chu was the best father, even though he had been absent for a long time in their lives. But this man who loved them as much as his life had been making up for them. For this family, for these people he loved the most, he had shouldered a lot. Finally, Chin Chu carried Pudding all the way back, reluctant to let her go. From afar, Little Bean was jealous when she saw her daddy carrying her sister. Damn, this scheming Chin Zhao Zhao. She acted coquettishly with Daddy behind my back and even asked for a hug. Shameless. Then, Little Bean broke free from Chin Ning's hand. She raised her head and looked at Chin Chu pitifully. Mr. Chin, we're both twins and your daughters. Why does she get a hug? I want one too. Okay, you get one too. Chin Chu smiled and put Pudding down. Then, he picked up Little Bean. Mr. Chin, we're going out to have fun. Yes, I had fun. You have to take care of your health at home too. I see that you've been so busy recently that you've been staying up late in the study to work overtime. As the CEO, you don't have to worry so much. Look at those CEOs in online novels. They just have to eat and drink every day, date the female lead, and have children. You don't have to work so hard, okay? Chin Chu chuckled at Little Bean's funny words. Chin Chu, who was known as the Prince Charming with no blind spots, was usually a sight to behold when he was cold. But when she smiled, she was truly stunning. If you were lucky enough to see it, you could definitely use one word to describe it. That was the smile of her Adonis, the spring flowers bloom. Little Bean reached out her chubby little hand and pinched her daddy's face. Look, comrade old Chin, you look so good when you smile. You can kill all the little fresh meats in a second. Smile more in the future. All right. Little Bean, stop wasting time. Let's go. We won't make it in time, Chin Ning urged from behind. What's the hurry? Aren't we super VIPs? Aren't we in the green passage of the first-class cabin? Besides, even if we're late, you rich people can charter the plane. What's there to worry about? After Little Bean complained, everyone laughed. Little girl, you're so materialistic at such a young age. Let's see how Bui Yuan will support you when he becomes a police officer. Do you want Bui Yuan to embezzle money? Ha ha ha, Tang Chuan teased her. Chapter 4261. Don't be ridiculous. Bui Yuan doesn't need to embezzle money. I've calculated everything. When I get married to Bui Yuan, we'll put our pocket money in the bank to earn interest. Then, when we get married, the dowry from dad and mom, and the red packets from sister, auntie, and other rich people, will be enough for us to eat and drink for the rest of our lives. You're thinking too far ahead. Chin Ning leaned against Tang Chuan's chest and laughed like crazy. Little Bean was going further and further down the road of being a clown. I thought you'd say you'd find a rich man to marry instead of Bui Yuan, Pudding said. How's that possible? Do I look like a fickle person? Little Bean was unconvinced. Okay. Stop arguing. Oh my God. Let's go through the security check. 4 bodyguards helped to drag a pile of luggage. Then, the 4 of them walked to the security check. Brother-in-law, don't worry. I'll take good care of the 3 most precious women in the Chin family. Tang Chuan smiled cheekily. I'm counting on you. Mr. Chin was very serious. After all, he didn't seem to be good at joking. Big brother, you should go back. We'll take care of the kids. Okay. Be careful. Have fun. Don't worry. With the 10 million you gave us, we'll have fun. It's enough to go to the South Pole. Chin Ning waved the black card in her hand. Finally, Chin Chu stood outside and watched them go in until they disappeared from his sight. When the security check came, Pudding stood there and looked to see if Daddy was still there. It was a pity that there were too many people around, and they were all blocking his view. Then, Tang Chuan accidentally saw Pudding crying. What's wrong? Pudding. Why are you crying? You don't want to leave home. Tang Chuan hurried to wipe Pudding's tears with a tissue. He thought the little kid would be so happy to go out and play. I just feel that my daddy doesn't have it easy. Pudding said meaningfully. These words touched Tang Chuan greatly. Pudding, your daddy is great. He's a superhero. There's nothing he can't handle. Let's trust him, okay? Pudding nodded with tears in her eyes. In the end, Chin Ning and Tang Chuan took the twins on a long-distance flight. Chin Chu's heart finally settled down. Next, he had more important things to do. Imperial Star Entertainment headquarters Suyu was a little tired after watching the auditions with the directors for the whole morning. After booking the hotel, the few of them headed out. She saw Nia Lingxian, whom she hadn't seen for a long time. She was still elegant and beautiful, wearing a long beige cashmere coat and a British top hat. Ever since the incident at Huo Min's birthday party, Nia Lingxian had been avoiding Suyu. In the past, when she was overseas, she would occasionally give Siu likes and send him WeChat messages. There had been no news from him for a long time. President Siu, you're back. Suyu was a little embarrassed. The directors knew and didn't dare to disturb them, so they left first to give them a chance to talk. But this made things even more awkward. Yeah, Cece gave birth, so I came back to see her and the baby. Oh, I heard. She gave birth to a daughter, right? Congratulations. Thank you. When are you leaving? Suyu felt awkward trying to find a topic to talk about. President Su, I came here to talk to you about this. I want to ask you, can I come back? Nia Lingxuan's voice was very gentle. Chapter 4262. Suyu thought he didn't hear her clearly and looked confused. Seeing Suyu's expression, Nia Lingxian repeated, President Su, can I come back? Of course. You didn't jump ship. Suyu rubbed his forehead. But I've been away for so long. If I come back, I might steal the newcomer's resources. I'm worried that President Su won't be happy with me. How can that be? Everyone knows how capable you are. Besides, your contract hasn't expired yet. If you come back, everything will be the same as before. If you feel tired, you can reduce your work schedule. We can discuss this. The treatment won't change. What do you think? Suyu always felt that it was his fault that Nia Lingxian went abroad. Therefore, he had always been polite to her. He definitely didn't have the aura of a big boss bullying a small employee. This warmed Nia Lingxuan's heart. Thank you, President Su. She bowed to Suyu respectfully. Although she was polite, it was obvious that she didn't dare to be passionate about Suyu anymore. Even if she was, she would take it back. After all, it would be awkward for both of them if she brought it up. Han Yueyao didn't know that Suyu was talking to Nia Lingxian. She thought it was a staff member, so she didn't think much of it when she saw Nia Lingxuan's back. She rushed up like a tough woman. She even punched Suyu in the chest. You're finally sober. Are you going to the nightclub to drink tonight? If you're going, can you take me with you? I've made up my mind. From today onwards, I'll be your dog skin plaster. As long as you go to the nightclub, I'll go. If you go home obediently or do something else, I'll let you go. After Han Yueyao finished speaking, she found that Suyu's expression was a little strange. Subconsciously, she turned around and looked at the woman opposite Suyu. She was dumbfounded. Nia. Nia. Superstar Nia. Han Yueyao didn't like celebrities or famous actresses, but Nia Lingxian was one of her favorite actresses. Nia Lingxian had acted in many historical dramas since her debut. Nia Lingxian played a mute widow who was bullied by others in a rural area. Since then, Han Yueyao had liked her very much. Unfortunately, when Han Yueyao came, Nia Lingxian had left the country. Some media outlets said that Nia Lingxian had been shelved, while others said that she had broken up with Suyu and had been dumped. In short, her leaving caused a lot of controversy. Now that Nia Lingxian had come back, she hadn't received any news. Han Yueyao felt like an idiot in front of her idol. It was so humiliating. Hello, you dance very well. I've been watching your competitions. Nia Lingxian smiled at her politely. Ah. Idol, did you watch my show? Yes, Dancing Allure is very popular. I like you and Yuanbo the most. You know, I really like your acting. I've watched a lot of your dramas. Can you take a picture with me? No. Can we add each other on WeChat? She was so excited that she couldn't speak coherently. Sure. Niao Lingxian agreed to add her on WeChat. Han Yueyao was even more excited. After adding each other, she adjusted the beauty camera on her cell phone and handed it to Su Yu. President Su, please take a picture for us. Thank you. Please make my face smaller. Then she ran to Niao Lingxian and made a V with her finger, looking extremely adorable. Su Yu looked at the silly Han Yueyao on his cell phone and didn't know whether he should laugh or cry. Chapter 42-63. Exasperated, Su Yu took a picture of them with his cell phone. After taking the picture, Han Yueyao said to Niao Lingxian, "Idol, don't worry. I'll Photoshop it for you when I'm done." Thank you. Niao Lingxian smiled gently. You're welcome. It's great to see you. Aw. Can I post it on my WeChat Moments and Weibo? Sure. Thank you, Idol. You're super nice. Then she ran away, completely ignoring Su Yu. The girl is really cute. Looking at Han Yueyao's back, Niao Lingxian said. Ha. Don't you think she's a cheerful little idiot? Ever since she came, I feel like there are more people in the company. Su Yu did think Han Yueyao was a girl who could lift people's spirits. She's a good person. I saw in the media that you guys, that's fake. Before Niao Lingxian could finish, Su Yu interrupted her. Niao Lingxian didn't mention it and just smiled. Niao Lingxuan's return was a sudden decision. Su Yu immediately contacted some senior officials in the company to write a proposal for Niao Lingxuan's comeback. At the end of the year, Imperial Star held its annual meeting. Niao Lingxian could use the opportunity to make a comeback and create a sensation. Su Yu went to have dinner with the directors. During the dinner, he scrolled through his WeChat Moments and saw Han Yueyao's photo with Niao Lingxian. He commented under the photo, "There's no harm without comparison. Look at her temperament and look at yourself. She's like a comedian." Han Yueyao replied immediately, "I'd love to." "Boss, are you going to the nightclub tonight?" Su Yu replied to Han Yueyao, "There are so many nightclubs in the city. I don't believe you can catch me." Han Yueyao replied to Su Yu, "Don't drive if you dare. Walk with Masterin. You win." Su Yu replied to Han Yueyao. After arguing with Han Yueyao for a while, Su Yu scrolled through the twins' WeChat Moments. Pudding kept a low profile and didn't like to post. On the other hand, Little Bean posted a selfie of herself boarding the plane. Then he wrote, "Comrade Old Chin has given us a huge sum of money to go out and have fun. The trip has begun. Don't miss us too much." Su Yu replied, "Little Bean, remember to send me videos often." Little Bean replied, "Then you need to give me some traffic right now. Otherwise, there's no room for discussion." Su Yu replied, "So you're blackmailing me?" Little Bean replied to Su Yu, "Blackmail? No, that's not my style. It's too low. I'm clearly robbing you." Su Yu replied, "You win, Little Bean. Have fun." Little Bean replied to Su Yu, "I'll miss you, handsome Su." Mwah. Interacting with the two children was one of Su Yu's favorite things to do, and he enjoyed it very much. Although Su Yu felt a little regretful that he didn't go to Tokyo and refunded a few tickets and hotels, he didn't blame Chin Chu. After all, she knew that Chin Chu's decisions were made after careful consideration. In other words, Chin Chu's decision was, even if Chin Chu agreed to let Huamin go with them, Su Yu wouldn't dare to take them. How could he take someone else's wife on a vacation? Even if there was really nothing between them, he couldn't explain it clearly. Even if he was Huamin's best friend, he still had to know how to avoid suspicion. Only when he had self-respect would others respect him. Therefore, Su Yu didn't have any misgivings about this matter. During dinner, Suyu received a WeChat message from Hwamin. Suyu, the trip to Japan is ruined. Chin-Chu doesn't agree to let me go. I know. He told me, Suyu replied. I didn't expect Chin-Chu to be so narrow-minded. I'm so disappointed. I'm a little sad. Can you come and accompany me? Hwamin said. Now. Suyu was a little confused. He didn't know what was going on with Hwamin recently. He had a feeling that she was flirting with him. Chapter 42-64. What's wrong? Is it inconvenient for you? I'm eating outside with a few directors right now. Where are you eating? The Yu family's private restaurant. Oh, after that, Hwamin didn't say anything else. Suyu thought that she was busy with something else, but 20 minutes later, Suyu received a WeChat message from Hwamin. I'm waiting for you at the entrance of the Yu family's private restaurant. Don't worry, eat first. When Suyu heard this, how could he eat? What kind of temperature was it outside? The temperature in the north had been dropping drastically recently. At night, Sea City would reach -20 degrees Celsius. Not to mention sitting outside for a while, even sitting for 5 minutes would freeze. You guys eat first. I'll go out for a while. Suyu stood up embarrassedly. After all, he was more familiar with the directors. No one paid attention to Suyu's departure. When Suyu came out, Hwamin was indeed sitting on the curb opposite the restaurant. He was only wearing a very thin cashmere coat. One had to know that cashmere coats couldn't keep people warm in this season. Everyone would buy a very thick down jacket. When Suyu saw this, his heart skipped a beat. Then, he quickly crossed the road and took off his goose down jacket and put it on Hwamin. Sister, how long have you been here? Suyu sounded helpless and heartbroken. I just arrived, not long ago. Why didn't you wear a down jacket? Don't you know what kind of weather it is? Are you still a northerner? Although Suyu's words were filled with reproach, it was obvious that he cared more about her. It was precisely because she felt this care that Layla kept approaching Suyu. Or rather, she kept seducing Suyu. After all, she had been rejected by Chin-Chu too many times, so she came to Suyu to seek warmth. Get up quickly. Come, follow me in. You're having a meal with a few directors. I don't think it's appropriate for me to go, right? She pretended to be reserved. I won't take you to eat with those people. I'll accompany you alone. You haven't eaten dinner yet, right? Suyu looked at his watch and saw Hwamin's pitiful look. No. Let's go then. Follow me in. Suyu was wearing a white Versace sweater with a Medusa pattern in the middle. He brought Hwamin into the restaurant and found a small private room. He picked up the menu and threw it to Hwamin. Dr. Hua, you can order whatever you want. The food here is pretty good. All right, then I won't stand on ceremony. Layla flipped through the menu. On the surface, she looked very happy, but in fact, she was not interested in the food. After all, she wasn't someone who relied on eating these things for a living. Suyu took the opportunity to go to the washroom. When he came out of the washroom, he pondered for a moment. Afraid of causing unnecessary misunderstandings, he went to the corridor and called Chin-Chu. Hello. Chin-Chu, it's me. Got it. Mion is with me now, at the Yu family's private restaurant. Chin-Chu didn't say anything. Did you have a fight with her? No. She didn't seem to be in a good mood and came to have dinner with me. I was afraid that you would misunderstand, so I told you. Okay, got it. Chin-Chu said he got it and then hung up the phone indifferently. Suyu felt that something was wrong with his attitude. If it was in the past, he would never be like this. It seemed that between Chin Chu and Huamin, there seemed to be a big problem. Chapter 42-65. Suyu walked back with questions in his mind. After entering the private room, Huamin smiled at him. Are you done ordering? Yeah, I ordered a few expensive dishes. I didn't hold back. Huamin smiled. Suyu sat down across from Huamin. Here's the down jacket, you don't wear much anyway. Seeing that Suyu was only wearing a sweater, Huamin took off her down jacket. It's okay, I'm not cold. You can wear it first. Suyu, you're so nice. Ahem. You didn't go to the airport today. Suyu was a bit embarrassed and changed the topic. To be honest, I didn't know about the kids going abroad. She smiled coldly. Are you serious? Suyu thought she was joking. How could Huamin not know about the twins going on a trip? I really didn't know, Chin Chu didn't tell me. Mian. I'm not joking. What's going on between you two? Suyu felt that the relationship between the couple was very strange. He didn't know what to feel about it. Huamin immediately began her performance. She froze for a moment, and then tears began to well up in her eyes. Suyu. I feel like an outsider in that family. Do you know how that feels? Huamin's voice was a bit choked up, making Chin Chu's heart ache. How can this be? It shouldn't be, you've always been a queen at South Hill Manor. Suyu knew that Huamin was really like a queen in the family. Her parents-in-law doted on her. Her husband protected her, and her daughters were very close to her. She was definitely the big sister in the family. How could she say that she was an outsider? Anyway, perhaps they felt that my miscarriage this time was quite a big blow to the Chin family. Although my in-laws keep saying that it doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl, who doesn't want a son? When the baby was in my belly, everyone was looking forward to her birth. My in-laws told everyone that they were going to have a grandson. Now that they're gone, they're very sad. Although Chin Chu didn't say it, I'm sure he had his own thoughts. That's why he started to distance himself from me. At first, he distanced himself from me. Later, he asked the children to distance themselves from me. I stayed in my room alone every day. To me, that home was like a prison. Alone? No way, where's Chin Chu? Suyu frowned slightly. Chin Chu is staying in the study. He says he's working overtime. Then he stays in the study. There's a single bed in the study. What about Pudding and Little Bean? The two of them are still in their own rooms, but Grandma and the nanny are the ones who take care of things like bathing and changing clothes. They don't need me, so I'm the extra one now. How did that happen? Suyu's heart ached when he heard about Huamin's situation. After all, Huamin didn't want to have the miscarriage. It was something unexpected. Mian, is there some misunderstanding between you and Chin Chu? I don't think Chin Chu is that kind of person. He shouldn't be so superficial. He's known you for so many years, he shouldn't be so distant from you because of something like this. Thinking about all the things that happened before, Suyu still didn't believe that Chin Chu would be so heartless. How could he leave his wife to this extent? Suyu, I'm only going to ask you one thing today. Do you believe me or Chin Chu? If one day the two of us were to tear each other apart, who would you side with? Huamin teared up and pretended to be pitiful as she threw a difficult question at Suyu. Who should he side with? The problem was, Suyu still didn't understand the situation. He still felt that Mian was a little strange. She was completely different from the calm and composed Dr. Hua he knew. Chapter 4266. To be honest, Mian, I've never thought about the question you asked. Suyu wasn't avoiding the question on purpose, but he really didn't know how to answer it. Hua Min's question was really strange. Since when could she openly say that she wanted to fight with Qin Chu? I'm just assuming. Don't be nervous. Seeing how serious Suyu was, Hua Min smiled. That's not a good assumption. Let's change it. Suyu, are you not treating me like before? Are you like everyone else? Why are you ignoring me? Hua Min began to play the warm card. Mian, if I ignored you, you wouldn't be sitting here today. I was talking to a few directors about a collaboration, and you called and I left. So, do you think I don't care about you anymore? Suyu felt wronged. I know. I know that everyone will betray me, but you won't. Suyu. Why are you so good to me? As he spoke, Hua Min's eyes began to moisten again. Suyu felt bad looking at him. Don't cry. Didn't we agree that I'll eat with you? At this moment, the waiters brought the dishes one after another. Suyu picked up a new pair of chopsticks and put various vegetables into Hua Min's bowl. But to be honest, she wasn't interested in these things. She didn't like to eat these things. Here, have a crab. It's very fresh. Suyu habitually scooped out the crab from the spicy crab and placed it directly on Hua Min's plate. Suyu, you forgot that I don't like seafood anymore. Only then did Suyu realize and smile awkwardly. Suyu didn't know what was wrong with him now. His feelings for Hua Min didn't seem as deep as before. Was it because he had become a scumbag? The meal was dull. During the meal, Little Bean and Pudding even took photos of Suyu when they stopped by. Little Bean made faces and stuck out her tongue, while Pudding was very elegant and only smiled slightly beside Little Bean. Suyu even showed it to Hua Min. Don't underestimate them. Look at how naughty they are. Suyu held up his phone as if they were his daughters. Suyu, do you like Pudding and Little Bean? Yes, Suyu answered without hesitation. Do you want them to be your daughters? Hua Mian asked again. What do you mean? Don't tell me you want them to call me their godfather. Ha, don't do that. Godfather is a derogatory term in the entertainment industry. The paparazzi often say that some actress and her godfather are doing this and that, so I'd rather die than do that. Don't ruin our baby's reputation. Suyu was right. Godfather wasn't a good word. In this day and age, godfathers weren't simple anymore. Hua Min held a spoon and kept stirring the bird's nest soup in the bowl. Then, he smiled meaningfully. I didn't mean to call you my godfather. You might have misunderstood me. You didn't mean godfather. Then what? Don't tell me you want to become my sworn brother and call me big brother. Don't do that, it's so old-fashioned. It's so bad in the wuxia movies. Let's not be so low-class. I'd rather die than do that. To liven up the atmosphere, Suyu's imagination ran wild. Unfortunately, Hua Min looked up and threw the spoon on the table. He said calmly, none of that, you're thinking too much. Chapter 4267. Then, Mian, you mean? Suyu was completely confused. He thought it was a joke, but Hua Min's expression didn't seem to be joking. So, Suyu didn't dare to joke around and put away his playful expression. If I divorce Qin Chu, I hope you'll stand by my side and help me fight for custody. If you help me, I'll marry you. Suyu, I'll marry you with my daughters. That way, they'll be able to openly call you Daddy. Not Godfather, but Daddy. Ha ha ha, Mian, this joke isn't funny at all, okay? Pudding and Little Bean will go crazy if they hear it. Suyu couldn't stop laughing, thinking that Huamin was really crazy. But, after laughing for a long time, he looked at Huamin's serious expression. Is it very funny? She asked him. Mian, Suyu, today's not April Fool's Day. I don't have time to joke with you. I'm just saying what's on my mind, so please give me an answer when you're done laughing. Mian, stop it. I'm not. If you don't agree, don't dare to offend Chin Chu, or don't want to help me, then I'll have to rely on myself. But the chances of winning aren't high, after all, I don't have much money or background. Suyu, if you don't help me, then I'll throw caution to the wind. If Chin Chu doesn't give me custody of the children, I'll die in front of him. What are you talking about? Suyu was scared out of his wits. You might think I'm just saying that to scare you, but I'm not. Mian, calm down, I'm calm. I've thought it through. I want to divorce Chin Chu, you two have been together for so many years. Why, Suyu, don't be a nice guy. Haven't you always loved me? Why are you still pretending to be a white lotus to set me up with Chin Chu? Shouldn't you be the happiest person if we get a divorce? Huamin stood up and looked at Suyu, questioning him righteously. Her tone made Suyu very uncomfortable, but because she was Huamin, Suyu tolerated it. I do like you, Mian, but I'd rather like you in my heart than ruin your happy family. I'm not a white lotus, I just want the person I like to be happy, that's all. Don't think of me as a selfish person, please. What if I'm not happy? Huamian's tone was aggressive. Suyu, if you don't help me, I'll do it myself. Anyways, if Chin Chu continues to be like this, I won't be with him anymore. I know you've always had me in your heart. If you're willing to help me, I'll divorce you and be with you. If you're not willing, then after the divorce, I'll leave this place, go abroad, and never speak to you again. After speaking, Huamin stood up and walked out. Suyu hurriedly got up, ran after her, and grabbed her arm. Then, Huamin turned around, and Suyu quickly let go. After all, it was too intimate. Mian. I'm shocked by what you said. I didn't know that was what you thought. Suyu, do you still love me? Huamin kept asking Suyu if he loved her or not. Suyu loved her, but he couldn't say it out loud. After all, she was someone else's wife. Suyu felt that if he said that he loved her, it would be shameless. You don't love me anymore, right? No. Then say that you love me, I want you to say it. Huamin kept asking. Suyu felt like his heart was on the verge of breaking down. Chapter 42-68. Mian, don't be like this, just answer me and don't change the subject. Mian, Chin Chu really doesn't have it easy, in the end, Suyu couldn't say that he loved her. Even though Huamin forced him to, he still didn't say it. If it was Suyu in the past, he would have no qualms about it. However, the moment Huamin interrogated him, the image of Chin Chu returning to China 4 years later flashed through his mind. He hugged Huamin tightly on the cruise ship, the scene of him secretly hiding the proposal ring. Everyone in the world knew what Chin Chu did for Huamin. Suyu once told Tang Chuan that he loved Huamin very much. However, compared to Chin Chu, his love was too shallow. His love was only superficial, while Chin Chu's love was deeper. Anyone could do something as grand as the sky falling and the earth cracking. However, he kept suppressing the longing in his heart. For Huamin, he was willing to sacrifice everything. He was willing to live in pain for 4 years. Suyu couldn't imagine it. Perhaps, if he was Chin Chu, he would have broken down long ago. In the face of Hua Xiqian's constant provocations and schemes, as well as the appearance of people related to his background, What was originally a happy family of 4 had become a precarious situation. Chin Chu had no choice but to be vigilant at all times to protect his wife and daughters. Even though he was physically and mentally exhausted, he didn't dare to fall, nor did he fall. Back then, when Huomin was dragged down the cliff by Hua Xiqian and Chin Chu vomited blood, Suyu would never forget it. Therefore, as a love rival, he actually didn't think of confessing his feelings at this moment. Instead, he felt sorry for Chin Chu for Huomin all these years. Suyu felt that he had become more mature and aware. He was no longer the fearless prince he used to be. You and Chin Chu appreciate each other. Fine, I guess I'm overthinking it. It's not like that. Listen to me, stop talking, I don't want to hear it. Suyu, I'm a little disappointed in you. After speaking, Huomin turned around and walked out of the restaurant without eating much. Suyu was a little disappointed, but he also felt that he was right. Suyu turned to call Chin Chu and found that Chin Chu's phone had been transferred to voicemail. Thinking that he might be in a meeting, he left a voice message. Suyu said, Chin Chu, talk to Huomin. I think the situation between you two is very serious. Today, she talked to me about divorce and custody. It's very scary. I think she might be suffering from postpartum depression. You'd better ask Dr. Jiang to see if there's something wrong with her. When Chin Chu heard the voice message, it was already 1.5 hours later. Chin Chu was still expressionless after hearing the voice message. He didn't reply to Suyu. He knew very well what that woman wanted. At the headquarters of Imperial Star Entertainment after the interview, Han Yueyao went to the dressing room to remove her heavy makeup. She happened to see Niao Lingxian putting on makeup. When she saw Niao Lingxian, she was still very excited. Hello, idol. Hello, Niao Lingxian greeted her politely. At this moment, Gao Yeruo arrogantly mocked, Whoa, isn't this the queen of popularity, Han Yueyao? You also know how to greet people. Why don't you talk to people like us who aren't famous? Are you a snob? Han Yueyao glanced at Gao Yeruo coolly. So you're the snob. Chapter 4269. Gao Yeruo panicked when she heard this. Who are you calling a dog? Do you want to be beaten up? Gao Yeruo was about to walk over. But Niao Lingxian stopped her. Yeruo, what are you doing? Big sister Xian, you don't know what's wrong with President Su. He's been supporting this country bumpkin while you were overseas. She's not very popular and she's very snobbish. When she was in my group, she didn't hold back when she talked to me, the captain. We don't like her. With Niao Lingshuan's support, Gao Yeruo became very arrogant. Han Yueyao knew that Gao Yeruo was the captain of the newbie group. It was because she heard that her cousin was Niao Lingshuan's agent. So, they should be close. Now that Niao Lingxian was back, it was normal for her to be arrogant. After all, she was always arrogant. Yaya, let's not lower ourselves to the same level as her, Niao Lingshuan's agent said. Obviously, she was on Han Yueyao's side. Han Yueyao didn't feel awkward. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she glanced at Niao Lingxian. If Niao Lingxian indulged these women, then she wouldn't care about her idol anymore. In that case, it was better not to have this idol of his in the future. It was better to stay away from him in the future. To her surprise, Niao Lingxian was a little angry. Don't doubt President Su's taste. He never makes the wrong decision at work because of personal relationships. He's supporting Han Yueyao because she's very good. I saw her dance too. She's very professional. Yeruo, you should learn from her. Don't always think that you're so good. You're a newbie and have a lot to learn. Niao Lingxian was obviously teaching Gao Yeruo a lesson for causing trouble. Sister Xianxian. Gao Yeruo was obviously unhappy. You two go out first. I need to talk to Han Yueyao. Xianxian, are you okay? The agent glared at Han Yueyao and then looked at Niao Lingxian ingratiatingly. I'm fine. With Niao Lingshuan's words, Gao Yeruo and her cousin left the dressing room reluctantly. The makeup artist hadn't arrived yet, so only Niao Lingxian and Han Yueyao were left in the room. Han Yueyao was the first to speak. I know Gao Yeruo is your agent's younger sister and you two are close. But I'm still grateful for your help and recognition of my abilities. Thank you, idol. Don't say that. I know Yeruo's character very well. She's been bullying newcomers for a long time. However, after you became famous, it's normal for her to be envious and jealous. After all, she came here earlier than you. In our circle, it's normal to be jealous and fight with each other. Don't mind it. I don't care. I'm thick-skinned. Han Yueyao smiled. Come and sit. Niao Lingxian patted the chair beside her and invited him intimately. She glanced at it and walked over with a smile. Then, he sat down beside Niao Lingxian. Do you want to remove your makeup? Let me help you. Niao Lingxian picked up the cotton pad on the dressing table and carefully dipped it in the makeup remover. No. I'll do it myself. Don't trouble you. Han Yueyao was startled that the superstar was going to help her remove her makeup. She immediately shook her head and waved her hands to refuse, but she didn't dare to speak too loudly in case she scared her goddess. Chapter 4270. It's okay. I'm good at this. Don't worry. I'm as good as a professional makeup artist. Then, Niao Lingxian carefully placed the cotton pad on Han Yueyao's face. She gently removed the makeup for Han Yueyao. For some reason, maybe it was her intuition. Han Yueyao thought Niao Lingxian wasn't a scheming woman. She seemed easy to get along with and was a good person. So, she didn't move and let the superstar remove the makeup for her. It's good to be young. You look beautiful. Looking at Han Yueyao's chubby face, Niao Lingxian sighed. Idol, you're still young. You're still in your prime, Han Yueyao flattered. I'm not that much older than you, but I'm old, and my mentality is old. I've been in this industry for a long time. Back then, when I was still studying at the Film Academy, I accidentally took on a commercial and caught the eye of the director of Imperial Star. I acted in their first period drama, but after that, things got out of hand. After that, I was stuck in the third or fourth tier for many years. In the end, Jian Tong and the others got into trouble one after another, and that was when I had the chance to become famous. Unfortunately, I'm not suited for fame, or rather, I'm not suited for being a celebrity. Why do you say that? You're so popular now. I've seen you in many period dramas. You're perfect for period dramas. Han Yueyao's words were from the bottom of her heart. I like acting, but I'm not suitable for being a star. Han Yueyao didn't understand what he said. Seeing the girl's confusion, Niao Lingxian smiled. It's okay. You'll understand in the future. I heard you're coming back. Han Yueyao asked cautiously. Yeah. Congratulations. Actually, there's nothing to congratulate me for. This is the path I'm supposed to take. But don't worry. I'm coming back to act and do what I love. I won't stand in your way or steal your limelight. No. That's not what I meant. I sincerely hope you'll come back. Congratulations, Han Yueyao explained nervously. I know. Niao Lingxian smiled and continued to remove the makeup for Han Yueyao gently. They were silent for a few seconds. Then Han Yueyao suddenly asked, Idol, do you like Siyu very much? Niao Lingxuan's hand, which was removing her makeup, paused for a moment at the sudden question. I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have asked. But I saw that the news was spreading like wildfire. I was curious and looked at Tiaba. I saw a lot of people talking about you guys, so, it's okay, there's nothing to hide. I like Suyu, the whole world knows. Niao Lingxian said calmly. She didn't look like the actress who was shy on camera at all. Looking at Niao Lingxuan's peaceful face, Han Yueyao felt Niao Lingxian seemed to have settled down a lot during her stay abroad. Since my idol is so honest, then let me tell you a secret. I also like Suyu. Han Yueyao pursed her lips into a smile. She knew she shouldn't reveal this secret so casually, but she didn't know why. At this moment, he really wanted to share it with the woman in front of him. Niao Lingxian paused. She didn't expect the little girl to be so direct. So, she couldn't help but ask curiously with a smile, does Siyu like you? Ahem. Of course not. To quote you, the whole world knows Siyu only likes Sister Huamin. Han Yueyao lowered her head and said dejectedly. Chapter 4271. Hearing this, Niao Lingxuan's eyes dimmed. Yeah. You're right. The whole world knows Suyu likes Huamin. I'm sorry. Did I bring up your sad past? Looking at Niao Lingxuan's sad eyes, Han Yueyao felt guilty and angry at herself for being so talkative. Niao Lingxian continued to remove her makeup with a cotton pad. No. It's all in the past, but I'm not sad anymore. You've gotten over it. Han Yueyao asked carefully. What else can I do? What else can I do? She chuckled. Ha. You're right. How about we form a missing couple alliance? Oh, no. It should be called the Suyu Crush Alliance. Niao Lingxian chuckled. I think Suyu treats you well. I don't have a chance anymore, but you still have a chance. No matter how much he likes Huamin, Huamin has a husband and children, so he'll never get a response. The Suyu family won't let Suyu stay single forever. Sooner or later, he'll end his loneliness. You're right. Han Yueyao agreed with Niao Lingxian. So, you have to work hard, huh? Why should I work hard? What about you? Han Yueyao looked at Niao Lingxuan's gentle face. She suddenly felt this girl was really nice. Why didn't Siyu like her? Didn't I tell you? I've given up, don't. Let's like him together. Suyu is everyone's. Han Yueyao turned on her funny mode. Niao Lingxian giggled. Laughter could be heard in the dressing room from time to time. Standing outside, Gao Yeruo was very displeased. I don't know what magic this bitch has. She always pretends to be an outspoken retard and makes people think she's not scheming. She's the best scheming bitch. If you have the time to complain about others, why don't you focus on improving yourself? Niao Lingxuan's agent glanced at her coldly. Cousin, I've been working hard. When you have time, talk to Sister Xianxian and ask her to put in a good word for President Su. There are so many actresses in Imperial Star, and President Su is very nice to Sister Xianxian. I heard that Sister Xuanxuan's brother-in-law is very influential. Gao Yeruo started gossiping. It's not your business. Don't pry. It won't do you any good. Gao Yeruo immediately shut her mouth and didn't dare to say another word. At this moment, on the other side of the world Huamin was sleeping, she vaguely heard Chin Chu's voice. Mian, get up and eat crabs. Fresh hairy crabs. Honey, can I eat it? I'm pregnant. At this time, his stomach was kicked by the little guy. Then, Huamin woke up and saw the white room around him. Only then did she realize that she was still trapped here. She touched her huge belly. Baby, you're 3 days past your due date. Why aren't you pregnant yet? Are you okay? The baby in her stomach seemed to understand Huamin's words and magically moved. It was quite big and seemed to be a little kick. It was very naughty. Huamin smiled happily. Little guy, are you waiting for us to go back? You want to see Daddy before you come out? Then, the little guy magically responded to her. Do you really understand me? You want to see Daddy too, right? Huamin was a little excited. At this time, the door was pushed open and Messiah walked in a gypsy outfit. Miss Mian, the master wants to see you. Chapter 42-72. I'm not going. Huamin hated Linya to the extreme. She was imprisoned here by her own mother and then sent a clone monster to destroy her family. Huamin felt that he would never forgive Linya for this. Miss Mian, I hope you can go. Don't forget. Miss Yen is still in the ice coffin. Huamin was a little angry. He looked up at Messiah coldly. Messiah, are you threatening me? I'm not threatening Miss Mian. I'm telling the truth. Because Master won't show mercy to Miss Yen. You know this better than anyone. Huamin was angry, but he knew that Messiah was right and he couldn't refute her. So, in the end, Huamin followed behind Messiah silently. They slowly walked towards the hall that she disliked very much. Linya was still not wearing her queen's outfit. Strangely, when she wore casual clothes, she gave people the illusion that she was a good mother. Mian, you're here. Linya smiled warmly. Huamin didn't answer. You can all leave. Linya sent all the maids away. Yes, master. Messiah led the other maids away. Only Linya and Huamin were left in the hall. The atmosphere was very cold. Perhaps it was because this place was too big, or perhaps Huamin's heart was empty. Mian, are the dumplings delicious? Do you like the food recently? Do you think I still have an appetite? Huamin looked at her. Mian, what do you want to eat? Tell mommy. Stop calling me mommy. You don't deserve it. Really, Linya, stop acting. I hate hypocrites the most. Dad and Yen are both so straightforward, so if you have any intentions, just say it. Don't beat around the bush. I really don't like to see you, not at all. Huamin didn't give Linya any face at all. Messiah usually told Huamin not to anger Linya. She said that when the Lord got angry, it was very scary. Even Layla had to be as obedient as a puppy. However, Huamin kept provoking Linya and even scolding her. Linya's attitude was very bad, but perhaps because Huamin was her biological daughter, Linya had never been mad at her and always treated her nicely. I know you don't like mommy. You have a deep misunderstanding about mommy, but it's okay. You'll slowly understand mommy. No, I will never be able to understand you. Mian, the word forever is too long. Don't jump to conclusions so easily. By the way, I have good news to announce. Huamin remained silent. Do you want to see your father? You caught him. Huamin furrowed his brows and glared angrily. He used the word grab and was very angry. How could I catch him? I invited him, or rather, he came with me willingly. Mian, do you want, our family of 4, to live together, eat together, chat together, and laugh together? A family of 4, Huamin was in a daze for a moment. That was her greatest wish. She had thought that her mother was dead. Therefore, she had always wanted to bring Yen and her father here and live together with them. Their family would be happy. Now that Linya had come back to life, or rather, Linya was here too. Then, with Lu Yen and her father, was this really a family of 4? It was probably harder to gather than the 7 godly dragons. Huamin couldn't believe it. After the excitement, she gradually calmed down. Linya, what are you up to now? Chapter 42-73. Kid, why don't you believe me? I just want to fulfill your wish. Don't you always want the 4 of us to live happily together? But you know it's impossible, Huamin said. For me, Linya, nothing is impossible. Everything is possible. Don't tell me you're thinking of cloning Xiao Yan to trick Daddy. Huamin knew Linya was good at making clones, so he couldn't tell the difference between the real one and the fake one. She even wondered if the Linya in front of her was a clone. After all, her real body was so noble that she wouldn't show up easily. No, there are no clones. They're real people. Don't worry. But Xiao Yan is still unconscious. I can heal Lu Yan's wounds in 3 minutes. Don't forget that half of her body has the genes of a clone. With a complicated expression, Huamin remained silent and listened to Linya. Mian, with 1 word from you, I can make all your dreams come true. Why are you so kind? Huamin looked at the beautiful woman in front of him suspiciously. Because I'm your mother. Isn't it my duty to fulfill your dreams? Don't mention the word mother again, Linya. You've tarnished the beautiful word mother. Compared to you, I love the mother in Sea City more. Although she's not my biological mother, she raised me, educated me, and taught me a lot of life principles. You, on the other hand, have done nothing but give birth to an egg. Now you're back to make trouble. So, Miss Linya, please call me Huamin from now on. You're not my mother. Huamin was grumpy probably because of her pregnancy. Huamin was very rude to Linya. Every time she mentioned her mother, Huamin felt disgusted. Hearing this, Linya chuckled. You mean that village girl? Yang Meirong. A village girl who was charmed by my 002. Mian, are you blind? How can you call her your mother? I'm really ashamed of you. Linya seemed to despise Yang Meirong and even made fun of her for cloning Jingde. She was deeply in love with Uncle Jing. It's shameful of you to use a dead person to make a fuss. How dare you blame her? Linya, are you really human? I'm not. I'm a god. Linya's smile was creepy. Huamin, on the other hand, was so angry that his heart was about to jump out of his chest. Okay, Mian, we don't have much time. Promise me one thing and I'll let you see your dad and Lu Yen. What is it? Don't tell your dad and Lu Yen anything about this place. Once you open your mouth, I promise you that the bomb in Lu Yan's body will detonate on the spot. Even if you beg me, I won't clone an identical Lu Yen for you. You know I'm a man of my word. Linya, you are really despicable and shameless. Huamin was so angry that he wanted to tear off her hypocritical mask. Cursing his mother isn't something a child should do. Of course, there's one more thing. What is it? Tell your dad to hand over the red demon. What's the red demon? Huamin looked puzzled since it was the first time he had heard of this strange term. You don't need to know. Just ask him to hand it over. That's strange. Aren't you the woman he loves the most? Why don't you ask for it yourself? Huamin was puzzled and looked at Linya warily, afraid that she was up to something. Chapter 42-74. Hearing Huamin's words, Linya's expression changed slightly. You don't have to worry about that. Of course, you can refuse. It's up to you. Seeing that Huamin didn't agree so easily, Linya didn't want to play the tender card with her anymore. She seemed to have lost her patience. Huamin didn't want to compromise, but she didn't want to miss the chance to meet Lu Yan's father. So, she lowered her head and bit her lips. After a long time, she finally nodded. Okay, I agree. Then you'd better not cry. Be happy, and don't give yourself away, or else, I know. I'll listen to you, Huamin interrupted her. Good. Then let's go, my good girl. Linya had long seen Huamin's weakness. It was easy to threaten him with Lu Yan's life. Linya led Huamin to the ice room where Lu Yan was. Looking at the sleeping Lu Yan, Huamin had mixed feelings. Linya waved her hand. Someone seemed to control the device and opened the ice coffin. Then, Linya connected some wires to Lu Yan at the end of the ice coffin. Then, she activated some devices. 3 minutes later, Lu Yan woke up miraculously. Her body was restored within 3 minutes, and all the injured soft tissues were restored. To put it in the most appropriate way, he had truly revived with full health. Lu Yan felt like she had slept for a long time. When she woke up, it took her a minute to wake up. Then, she opened her eyes completely. Yan, Huamin couldn't help but run over with tears in his eyes. But, Lu Yan punched Huamin. Fortunately, Linya pushed Huamin aside and dodged Lu Yan's fatal punch. Mian. It's me. Huamin looked at the crazy Lu Yan in disbelief. Impossible. You monster, do you still want to pretend to be my sister? It seemed that Lu Yan was still immersed in the battle with Layla in the primitive jungle in Yunnan. So, she thought the real Huamin was Layla. Seeing Lu Yan going crazy and rushing up, Linya only made a slight backhand movement, and Lu Yan couldn't resist. She slowly lowered her body to his. Who are you? Let me go, Yan, look who I am. Linya's voice was pleasant to listen to her voice. And matched her appearance to match. Lu Yan looked up, and the moment she saw Linya, her pupils dilated. She opened her mouth wide and looked at the girl who had once been a blur in her memory. She was in disbelief. The only picture of Linya in the world was in Lu Yan's possession. It was a sketch drawn by Lu Yan. However, no matter how good the painting was, it was not as beautiful and charming as Linya herself. Yan couldn't believe it. Standing on the side, Huamian looked at Lu Yan's expression and knew Lu Yan thought of her as her mother. Yan, do you remember me? Linya let go of Lu Yan's hand that was trying to stop her. Lu Yan stood up slowly and straightened her back. She looked at Linya without blinking. Your mom. The word mom was too unfamiliar to Lu Yan because she hadn't called her that for many years. To her, although her mother was brain dead, it was no different from death. After all, her father hadn't found a way to revive her for many years. Therefore, the sudden revival of a dead person was an immeasurable blow to Lu Yan. Chapter 42-75. Emichim, good. You still remember me. Linya smiled sincerely. If Huamin didn't know the truth, Linya wouldn't have believed her. She would have been fooled by Linya. However, Lu Yan didn't know that Linya wasn't her mother. the clone was. Only Huamin knew this, but she couldn't tell him. After all, Linya had threatened her before. She couldn't risk Lu Yen being killed by the explosion. She just looked at her quietly. No, you're not Mom. Mom's dead. She's dead. She's in Iceland. Yen, it's me. If you don't believe me, you can ask your sister. Linya pointed at Huamin. Lu Yen looked at Huamin. You're really my sister, not that psycho. Lu Yen couldn't accept the sudden turn of events. She even wondered if she was dead and if all of this was just her hallucination. Huamin nodded. Yen, it's real. Sister. You didn't have a miscarriage. Lu Yen found the key point. She looked at Huamin's big belly. I didn't. That monster lied to me. I knew you were fine and the baby was fine. Oh my God. If my brother-in-law knew, he would be so happy. At this moment, Lu Yen realized that the sister in front of her was real. So, she rushed over and hugged Huamin. She greedily smelled Huamin's unique body fragrance. That's right, this was definitely his older sister. That monster had a very strange smell on it, and it didn't smell like his older sister. After knowing that it was her sister, Lu Yen hugged her tightly. Huamin had mixed feelings. He hugged Lu Yen back. He touched her head. Seeing Lu Yen wake up from the crystal coffin made him happier than anything else. Yen, you scared me to death. I'm fine. I'm lucky. I won't die. The fortune teller said I can live to 100 years old. After the two sisters caught up, Lu Yen turned to look at Linya. Sis. Is that, really? Mom. Lu Yen believed her sister's words. Therefore, Huamin's answer at this moment was very important. Threatened by Linya, Huamin had to lie. Besides, she knew Lu Yen was smart. He didn't dare to show any abnormal emotions. He was afraid that Xiao Yen would find out and be in danger. Therefore, Huamin could only go against his conscience and nod. Yes, Yen. That is indeed. Mom. Huamin felt a little disgusted when he blurted out those two words. Linya smiled in satisfaction. Mom, but isn't she in Iceland? How could she? It's a long story. Let's not talk about it. Yen. I just performed surgery on you. Do you feel any discomfort? Linya's tone was filled with concern. She really sounded like a mother concerned about her daughter. Hearing Linya's words, Lu Yen immediately moved her body. She clearly remembered that she had been severely injured by that perverted person who resembled her elder sister. She had been pummeled to the point where she was on the verge of falling apart. That perverted woman wasn't a normal human at all. Her speed and strength were very, very fast. Not many people in the world could beat Lu Yen like that. She was one of them. It showed how explosive her strength was. Hearing Linya's words, Lu Yen jumped on the spot. She moved a lot, however, miraculously, it didn't hurt anymore. I'm really fine now. Oh my God, I really don't hurt at all. How did you do it? Lu Yen looked at Linya curiously. Chapter 4276. However, Linya smiled calmly. Because I'm the greatest doctor of medicine, Linya. Right. I forgot that Mom is a great doctor. Lu Yen had accepted Linya as her mother and was very happy. Huamin just smiled and didn't say anything. Sis, Yuan. Mom, why are you here? Where is this place? This is our home. Linya interrupted. Our home. Lu Yan was confused. Let's go. I'll take you to see the person you want to see the most. Wait. Lu Yan stood motionless. What's wrong, Yin? Linya smiled patiently. Mom. Mom. Can I make a call? Lu Yan said. To whom? Linya asked. To Xiao Fei. Oh, your little boyfriend. Linya seemed to know Xiao Fei. Lu Yan's cheeks flushed slightly. Yes. He'll be worried sick if he can't find me. I'll tell him. Don't worry. Let's eat first. Mom, let me make a call. Just one. I just need to say a few words. It was obvious that Lu Yan cared about Xiao Fei a lot. At such an important moment, she didn't let the surprise get to her head. She even remembered to call Xiao Fei. If Xiao Fei knew how important he was to Lu Yan, he'd be overjoyed. Huamin didn't say anything. She knew Linya wouldn't agree. Linya wouldn't let them contact the outside world. It was up to Linya to persuade Lu Yan. Sure enough, Linya sighed slightly after hearing Lu Yan's words. Mom, what's wrong? Is there a problem? Yan, to tell you the truth, we're in a dangerous situation. A group of people is looking for you and your sister. I took the risk to take you here because it's dangerous outside. If you contact the outside world, our last stronghold will be exposed. Huh? Is that so? Who wants to catch us? Is it that big psycho Ian? Many people want to catch you. You know what's going on over the years. Linya smiled mysteriously and didn't say much. Lu Yan was so smart that the more she talked, the more suspicious she would be. His words were vague, but Lu Yan believed him without a doubt. All right, Mom, I got it. I won't call anymore. Very good, good girl. You too, come with me. I want to bring you to eat the most sumptuous dinner. With that, Huamin and Lu Yan walked behind Linya. Following her, they passed through white corridors and maze-like rooms. Lu Yan had just woken up and was pleasantly surprised. She even joked with her sister from time to time and naughtily touched Huamin's belly. Huamin's every step was very heavy. She knew that her father was also here. Linya had brought her, Lu Yan, and their dad here. What was his ultimate goal? What was a red demon? There were so many mysteries that Huamin really wanted to solve them all at once. Finally, Linya stopped in a restaurant. It was decorated in a Nordic style and the restaurant was filled with ivory ornaments. It looked extremely expensive and luxurious. Lu Yan was dumbfounded. She had seen so many treasures, but she had never seen so many precious ivory ornaments at once. There were all kinds of decorations carved out of ivory here. Then, on the rectangular table, there was a dazzling array of food and fruits. There were many seafood dishes that Huamin liked, dumplings that Lu Yan liked, sauced beef, and turbot. It was mostly Chinese food that seemed to be specially prepared for them. Mom. I'm so hungry. Can I eat now? Lu Yan turned around and asked Linya. Chapter 4277. Linya smiled slightly. Not yet, baby. Why? Lu Yan was puzzled. Because there's an important person coming, huh? There's an important person. Lu Yan didn't react for a moment. At this moment, hearing footsteps, everyone turned their heads. They saw Professor Lu standing at the door in a dark blue striped suit. With his white hair and silver-rimmed glasses, he looked like an elegant scholar. Damn it. Dad, Lu Yan was stunned. Huamin was also very touched. Her voice was lower than Lu Yan's, but Professor Lu still heard her. "Dad," she said. "Yen, Mian. Ya. You're all here. It's so good. This is a scene I've imagined countless times in my life." At this moment, Professor Lu burst into tears. His eyes couldn't stop tearing up. He lowered his head and took off his glasses. Lu Yan ran over. She pinched her father's face with both hands. "Wow, you're indeed my father. It's really like this. The flesh is loose and hasn't changed after all these years. Stupid girl, let go. It hurts. Ha ha ha. Dad. I love you. It's so good to see you." Lu Yan hadn't seen her father for a long time, so she was very excited to see him here. She even wanted to jump up and down. "Mian," Professor Lu looked at his eldest daughter. "Dad," Huamin couldn't help but walk over and give his father a big hug. "Mom, do you have a cell phone? This moment should be recorded. It's a classic reunion of the century. I never dared to think that such a day would really come. Am I dreaming?" Lu Yan kept pinching herself and didn't let go until she felt the pain. She looked like a fool. She wasn't the demoness Lu Yan they usually saw. "We don't have a cell phone because we have to block the signal. But we have a camera." Then, Linya turned around and shouted, "Messiah. Master. Come in with a camera." "Yes." Messiah walked in respectfully with a black SLR camera in her hand. "Take pictures for us," Linya ordered domineeringly. "Yes." Then, Linya slowly walked over to Professor Lu. She rested her head on Professor Lu's shoulder like a little bird. It was obvious that they were a loving couple. Unbeknownst to them, Lu Yan held Linya's hand intimately. Huamin chose to stand on his father's side. The couple, their 2 daughters, and the baby in Huamin's belly. Just like that, a family portrait of the century was produced. This DSLR has the function of a Polaroid. After taking a picture, it will immediately become clear, and the picture quality is very good. "Messiah, make 3 of them," Linya ordered. "Mom, you're wrong. There are 4 of us." Lu Yan smiled. "I don't need it. You 3 can have it. Why don't you want it?" Lu Yan was confused. "Because all of you are enough in my heart." Linya's hypocrisy made people speechless. Huamin didn't want to expose himself and put Lu Yan in danger, so he lowered his head and didn't look at Linya's face to prevent himself from exposing her lie. "Mom, I love you. You're so nice." Lu Yan was very touched and gave Linya a big hug. However, she felt something very strange. Linya's body was very cold. "Mom. Your hand is frighteningly cold." Lu Yan looked down at Linya curiously. "You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.